Different day, same shirt, and this shit here, I ain't even paid for, so please, let me stay firm. Envelope's been broke since 1984, yeah, I know. It's some sad shit, but I tell you, man, it's just what happens. I like I'm bad with my money. Bullshit. I just never have any money to be bad with, and I don't know how. I work 40 plus, got no job, can't even afford the bus. If it wasn't for my bike, I'd be surely fucked. Yo, that ain't working. Let me borrow like 40 bucks, yo, good looking. I'll get you on Friday unless I happen to avoid you for the rest of my life. Hey, I like being broke like I like pain, but this is how it's gonna be till my dying day, cause I'm not poor. I'm just broke as hell. Cause I'm not.
Welcome back, everyone, for episode 10 of the Columbus Comics Corner podcast. As always, my name is Ryan, and with me is Alan. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good.
Good.
I'm kind of stunned. We're at 10 already. We hit double digits.
I know. The comics keep coming out faster and faster.
I know. Pretty good week.
Yes, it was. Yeah, we actually got some decent news this week too. A few movie news or entertainment news, and then some comic book news as well. But yeah, just before we get into all of that, you can always find all of our podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter, and our blog spot and email is all under Columbus Comics Corner. So just search that on each of those sites or email us. You can rate and review us on iTunes and subscribe to us as well, and we'll definitely read them online. I didn't check to see if we got any new ones yet. I forgot. Other than that, just a warning, we all are a spoilers podcast, so once we do get to the comic books, we will be spoiling them. So just check the details if you haven't been able to read the books yet that we'll be discussing. Definitely, go read the books first and come back. Or if you just want to hear us talk about it, just go ahead and stick around. But first, we're going to get into the entertainment news.
Yeah, we only had really one big entertainment, bit of information come out this week, and that was, I believe it was a couple days ago that the Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 trailer, the official trailer, finally dropped.
Yep.
The last trailer we had was like a teaser. This was like a close to 3-minute trailer, and it was glorious.
It was good. Wasn't
I
bad.
thoroughly enjoyed this trailer. I enjoyed it.
For all the hype that I kept hearing about it from Comic-Con, I wasn't disappointed. I'm still gonna go see the movie. Like Guardians, the first one was one of my favorite all-time Marvel movies ever made. But yeah, I definitely don't need the trailer to sell it. There was a lot of comedy factored into this one, but which is fine because we still don't know what the story is yet. So I think the opening scene or the trailer, I think that might be the opening scene to the movie. It feels like maybe them fighting their first monster together and then going off and doing something else.
That's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking that's where the movie's going to pick it up at, is them fighting that the tentacle monster thing.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think that's going to be like the open. We're going to defeat it, and then we get our opening credits, Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2.
I'd be fine with that.
But it's a good trailer. I'm okay with the uptick in humor. I think Marvel movies are known for having fun, juggle the dramatic with the fun. But Guardians of the Galaxy is just something that's just the way they did even the first one. It just was a funner Marvel movie.
Yeah.
Kind of like Ant-Man. Ant-Man was one of those ones too where it's still in the Marvel universe, but since you're dealing with the specific characters that are a little bit more silly, you can have fun. I'm kind of guessing that Spider-Man is going to be when Spider-Man finally comes out. It's probably going to be serious stuff in there because it's Spider-Man. But at the same time, since it's Spider-Man,
and he's young,
you have to have it be fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how Guardians is. That Guardians definitely shows that it's going to be a fun movie. I'm loving the baby Groot. He's growing up now.
Be in there a lot in that trailer.
Yeah, I was wondering because I know they were saying that he's going to essentially be going through adolescence in this movie, so he's going to be a little bit rebellious. I wonder how they were going to do that. And in that trailer, they kind of show we're going to get Groot with a little bit of attitude.
Mm-hmm. No, that'll be dope.
So I'm like you said, I was already sold on it. When I heard that they got the green light for Volume 2, I was already there.
Oh yeah.
When I saw the teaser trailer, I was still there. And when I see this one, I'm definitely still there. Like, it's nothing changing.
Changed now. I'll watch.
If anything, it's getting me more excited.
Yeah.
I think if anything, it definitely got me more excited for when this is going to come out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this trailer in particular got me excited, but it was cool. It was just cool to see. I think once the second trailer comes out, I'll watch that one, and then I'm out until the movie comes out, because I don't want to see any other. I don't want to see clips or anything else.
Well, I wanted to see Mantis, and it felt good to see, because they're introducing some new characters, and it was good to see that they had this new character in the trailer.
Yeah,
and we're going to see kind of how the actress is going to portray Mantis a little bit from the trailer. We get to see that character is still going to have fun with the fact that, because the part where he's touching Peter Quill's hand and she senses his innermost feelings and everything, and the Drax is like, do me next. That just seems like that's going to be an awesome scene.
That might have been the best part of the trailer for me was Drax at the end.
And I kind of really, part of me wishes it would have went on maybe like a minute more, just so I could see if she did actually
respond,
do Drax, because now I'm interested to see what is she going to see when she touches Drax. What's she going to see?
Sad. It might be either sad or really, really bizarre.
I think it's going to be something bizarre, but maybe sad at the same time in a way, if that makes any kind of sense.
Yeah, because he still has like his family troubles he's dealing with from what was the dude's name?
Roland.
Roland, yeah. I was about to say Rorschach. I was like, that's a different company.
But maybe she's going to see his true feelings for like Star-Lord and the rest of the team.
Yeah, because he's always.
Maybe that's what it is. It's going to be something that's going to be kind of embarrassing, and I think that would be kind of embarrassing for him because he doesn't come off as like a softer character.
No,
and she's going to see something in him that's going to be like super soft.
Yeah, I think we've seen like little hints of it, but yeah, not to the full extent yet.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be awesome. It was definitely a great trailer to see. I'm there. I was already there, but I'm even more there now.
Yeah, I forget when it comes out. Is it March? No,
I believe it is. It could be March, because I know Old Man Logan comes out at the beginning of March. Guardians could shoot for like the end of March.
End of March, yeah.
Let me look this up now. Let's see. Yeah. Wow.
Is it real soon?
Okay. So I just looked up the date for when Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2 was coming out. It's actually coming out on May the 5th.
May the 5th?
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, we'll definitely get one
So they're going to go... we're going to get one more trailer, and it's going a little bit... It's coming out than I thought it was. I figured they were going to let Old Man Logan go ahead and be out before they decide to put something out.
April.
Yeah, so they're giving some breathing room there.
Makes sense. Oh, comic book movies taking over the industry.
Yeah,
but
the movie screens.
Yes, I'm still slacking on seeing Doctor Strange. I said this in our Wolf Cop review. I went and saw Arrival, but still waiting on the wifey to be able to find time to go see it, because she wants to see it first with me. So, but I will say Arrival was an amazing movie. If anyone hasn't seen it yet, definitely go check that out.
I need to see that. I will say that Doctor Strange is an amazing movie. I think I've seen it about 5 or 6 times now.
Yeah, I remember last time we talked, you were like, yeah, I saw it like 4 times.
Yeah, and again.
Cool, we can move on from there, though. Did you want to discuss the Luke Cage Season 2? Because that just dropped today, that it was announced that they... obviously, we already knew that it was coming. It was going to come at some point, but they announced Season 2.
Knew it was coming.
Cage.
Did not know that they announced it today. I haven't had a chance to really check any of my news feeds or anything.
Yeah,
and
literally.
They announced it. Like, did they have like a date for it?
I did not. I just saw it before we hopped on here. So I didn't look into it, but I saw that Netflix did announce it. So that'd be cool. I'm down.
I'm excited for that.
Yep. So
I love season 1. So
yeah, I still need to go back and rewatch.
I mean, I don't know what there is really to discuss about that. If season 1 was terrible, I might have a bunch to say. But
I think
season 1 was awesome.
It'll probably be a while before we see it, but it'll be worth it.
It'll probably be like, if not next fall/winter, then the beginning of 2018, because we still got Iron Fist, we still got the Defenders, then we know that we're getting a Punisher after that.
And then Daredevil.
And they're probably going to hold
Jessica Jones.
We're getting Daredevil, but they're probably going to hold off on Daredevil. Daredevil probably would be like either the second or third one, or the last one that they release. Already up. That'll be season 3 of Daredevil. And so they're probably going to allow some of these other heroes to kind of catch up a little bit before they go straight into season 3 of Daredevil.
That would be nice. Give them a chance to shine for a little bit. Grant, I'm itching for that next Daredevil, but I can wait for them to build their universe a little bit on Netflix.
Yeah, because we know we're getting Jessica Jones season 2. We know we're getting a Luke Cage season 2. We know we're getting season 3 of Daredevil. You know, let Iron Fist come out and be a hit, and we know we're going to get season 2 of Iron Fist, and then roll some of those out before you go into doing season 3 of Daredevil. Even though I love Daredevil,
and then give us a Hellcat. Give us a Hellcat series at some point, please, Netflix.
What's you know what's fun is, as I was watching Jessica Jones, one time I was watching it and was like, I know who she is.
Yeah, they handed at it just a little.
What was her name? Betty or whatever. Were you one of those people that's watching? Like, I know who she is.
Yep. Oh yeah.
I know. Excited. It's looking like season 2 they're going to either her or they're going to set her up further to become it, because I know season 2 was supposed to be more about her and Jessica Jones' relationship together. Mm-hmm. So I'm guessing that's kind of like a slight nudge, like their relationship together. You already saw her train season 1.
Yep.
You know, she already kind of like, I want to go out. She was already pretty much like, I want to go out almost. So yeah, I think season 2 of Jessica Jones is going to be very interesting.
Oh, yes. And then this wasn't really comic book news, but I know we're both fans of Alien, and the release date for Ridley Scott's Alien has now been moved up to May 19th of next year. Mm-hmm. So I'm pretty excited for that.
That's called Covenant?
Yep, Covenant.
The poster for it, I'm excited. I love the Alien universe.
Same here.
And Aliens are like 2 of my favorite science fiction movies.
Yeah, those are the only ones I really
3
think of. That and Prometheus are the ones I really only care for, personally.
Erection was okay. It was pretty much unwarranted. But Resurrection, I didn't like 3 at all when it first came out, and it took me years before I even kind of sort of liked it. Like, even just kind of. But even then, I'm excited for this, since they're essentially going to ignore 3 and Resurrection. This is going to pick up right after 2.
Yeah. Yep.
So, loving it.
Loving it. But yeah, I thought I'd touch on that just for a second. Alright, so we do have a few, some comic book news to discuss. And the first few of these items come from Newsarama.com. And first being that January's Batman changed to become a 2-part Catwoman arc. And Newsarama explains DC is changing up the solicited plans for January's Batman 14 and 15, making the 2 issues a 2-part story where Batman will decide what to do with Catwoman after recent events. Announced as part of its weekly retailers-only newsletter, this 2-part Rooftops arc by series writer Tom King and guest artist Mitch Gerards begins in January 4th with Batman number 14. This issue was originally solicited as the end of the current I Am Suicide arc, if you've been following that. which is illustrated by Stephanie Hans. It's that Hans cover 414 will remain, and the artist will also now do the cover for 15. So if you've been listening, we've been talking about the I Am Suicide arc now for the past few episodes. So
yeah,
who knows where we'll have to see next week where this takes Catwoman and how this ties into the new event coming up.
I'm telling you, I think the people at DC been listening to this podcast and they got an idea for what to do with Catwoman.
I hope so.
It could go any way, but it's just kind of funny that all of a sudden they had this arc planned out, and now they're like, well, you know what? We're going to do something special with Catwoman. I wonder what that could be.
Yeah, who knows if they wanted to...
You all know my theory.
Yeah, and who knows if they wanted to kind of...
know my theory.
Explain it out a little bit more, or drag it out just a little bit more to tell more of a story. But yeah, we will definitely see what happens with that. And because we're going to have Ben from Nerd Church Radio to discuss Batman 12 with us next week. So that'll be fun and get his thoughts on everything too. I've been talking to him a little bit. And he's, like I was saying earlier, that, this is one of those arcs where you have to, you can, reread it as many times as you want and pick out something that may be a big key in the story. And it could not be nothing at all. But it's just that kind of book where, anything can mean anything. Like any sort of wink, any sort of right hand, left hand movement. It's crazy. Tom King's a great writer.
Those are always some of the best stories, is when there's so much in there that could lead somewhere and seems like it might lead somewhere but doesn't necessarily have to.
Yeah.
I mean, they could be taking stuff from this story arc for the next few Batman arcs. There's stuff in here that could pop up in individual arcs coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it will.
Maybe it will. We will see. But moving on from there, still from Newsarama, so we do have, they announced creators, cast, and more revealed for twice monthly X-Men Blue and Gold titles. And starting with the Blue title, Uncanny X-Men writer Cullen Bunn will write X-Men Blue, joined by recent Star Wars artist George Molina. Bunn will bring Magneto over from Uncanny to lead the team, which consists of the time-tossed original X-Men Jean Grey, Cyclops, Iceman, Beast, and Angel. Although Magneto has grown to be much more than a one-note villain, these throwback original X-Men know Magneto almost exclusively for his villainous actions early in X-Men history. And then we're just going to touch on Gold real quick, and then we're going to kind of wrap both of these together. But for the Gold, Arrow co-showrunner Mark Guggenheim returns to the titles as X-Men, or as the writer for X-Men Gold, joined by recent Superman artist Ardian Syaf. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. So Kitty Pryde will lead this team, reuniting her Excalibur teammates Nightcrawler and Rachel Gray, as well as her original X-Men teammates Storm, Colossus, and Old Man Logan. Your thoughts on Blue, my friend?
Well, my thoughts on Blue is I love the idea of Magneto leading a young team of X-Men, especially the original X-Men, because as it says in the description, he's primarily known to them for being a villain. Like, Magneto was the first villain the X-Men fought. Mm-hmm. The first 2, 3, 4 issues of the X-Men is dedicated to them either fighting Magneto or the Brotherhood, which was led by Magneto. So I definitely think that, So I definitely think dealing with young teenage X-Men, there's going to be a lot of conflict there, where since they know him for being a villain and early on in X-Men history, he was the biggest threat to the X-Men. I think that there's going to be a lot of issues with them following his lead, following his orders, and trying to follow line and do what he needs them to do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that conflict is probably going to come from, I don't know, because Beast, young Hank McCoy, from what I've seen so far, he's got a little bit of attitude now. I was going to say I think most of that conflict might come from Angel and Cyclops, but Beast might be one of the ones really giving a lot of opposition to his lead.
Yeah, he's been sticking out more.
And when it comes to,
he's been sticking out more as a
go
character
ahead.
for me. It seems like.
They've
been doing a lot.
He was
with
normally
young
like
and
a
old.
character to kind of.
I was just saying they've been doing a lot with the younger one and older one, like really standing both of them out right now.
Oh yeah. We're definitely get to. They did a lot with the older one this month. We'll get to the older one later. But when it comes to the young one, like you said, because Beast was traditionally a character that kind of fell into the background a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Because in the old X-Men, he was kind of like the clown of the group, but yet and still he was the scientific guy who was kind of. In the lab or, just off doing things and not necessarily in the forefront. And just the one issue we read a couple of weeks ago, he's really has more of a presence now than what he had before. And I went back and read some of the early X-Men. Like I have the trade with like the first, I think, 10 or 15 issues of Uncanny X-Men. Okay. And Beast really doesn't stand out that much. Most of them didn't really stand out too much. But Beast definitely didn't stand out. So I do think like he could be, after thinking about it, he could be the one who's going to cause the most drama next to Cyclops. I think Cyclops is going to cause a lot of drama with the idea of Magneto leading the X-Men.
Leading them, yeah, I can see that. Excuse me, yeah, I can definitely see that. I'm not familiar with Cullen Bunn as a writer. I know he's done quite a few things. I've heard good things from him so far. So, and the Star Wars art, George Molina, I've seen that at least. That's been really good. So, I guess it wasn't the team I was expecting. I didn't know what artist really they would get for any of the X-Men books. But I was hoping it would be like a writer that I do follow. But I'm definitely going to give Cullen Bunn a chance and see what he does with it. And then so we got Gold. That's
Gold
an interesting
now.
One because that's like the co-runner for Arrow, Mark Guggenheim. Because I always forget that he did some comic book writing, but I've never read any of it. But this I'm looking forward to this one as well. I'm definitely gonna give it a chance. I liked Arrow season 2. So we'll definitely see. But yeah, I'm a big fan of Kitty Pryde leading this team, giving her a chance.
What I was going to say.
Nightcrawler is my dude. You got Storm, Colossus, and the interesting, we got Old Man Logan running with this crew. So
and Rachel Gray.
And Rachel Gray, yeah, I forgot to mention that. That's a big.
That was because I saw the covers to both of these and was trying to pick out who was on each team. Mm-hmm. And I saw Rachel, and for a moment, that's what I thought it was. But I was like, it couldn't be her. Like, it can't be her. And then now I find out like it is her.
Yeah, they finally announced it.
That's going to be extremely interesting. It's a solid team, though.
Yes, it is.
Like, that's a solid X-Men team.
I think I may be more excited for Gold right now, just because of the team. But I'm interested to admit what they do with Blue.
I think I'm excited for Blue just to see the drama that's going to happen between, the classic X-Men and Magneto. But I would agree I'm way more excited for Gold just based off of the X-Men team.
Yeah.
And the fact that Kitty's going to be leading them. That is like, I like Kitty Pryde as a character, and she's one of those characters that has really grown over the years and really become like, from the moment she became Shadowcat, like Kitty Pryde has started taking off for me. But to see her in a leadership position, I think there's going to be drama there too on that team with because I'm not sure how Storm's going to take not leading the team, because Storm's normally been
that kind of
the number 2 leader. Yeah,
that kind of threw me off.
And then she's on the team with Colossus again, and I'm not sure how that's going to really work out. But I think this book, I like you said, I'm excited for both of them, but I'm leaning more towards Gold right now.
Same. I think Storm will be cool with it. She's probably like,
oh yeah,
I've done my time. Like,
it's time for you to shine. I think Storm is probably going to play like an advisory role to Kitty Pryde.
I can easily see
like that. She's probably going to be there to kind of reinforce that she can do it. I think Kitty's going to be like, I'm not sure if I can do this. And Storm's going to be the one like, no, you can do this. Like, I've watched you grow over the years and yeah. And I think in Storm, from what I remember, Storm was the one who actually managed to convince Kitty to even join the X-Men.
Yes, if I remember
Yeah,
correctly,
she was the one that.
from that pilot episode that we talked about a while ago. I think she was the
Oh,
one.
they did the Pride of the X-Men is what you're talking about.
Yeah, I think she was. I
They
can't
did
remember
it
in
in
the
there,
comics, but
but even in the comic they did it that way, because in the comic Professor X stayed and talked to her parents, and she went out to like a restaurant or something with Storm and a couple of the other X-Men, and it was Storm who sat down and talked to her and sold her on the idea of actually joining the X-Men.
nice. But yeah, I'm all about that. All about this team, and we'll see what they do.
Oh yeah.
And then we finally, I think, the last X-Men news I'm really excited for. But before we get there, we have one more piece. So we finally got more details. Jean Grey's first ever ongoing is coming, and so is the Phoenix. Founding X-Men Jean Grey is getting her own ongoing series as part of 2017's Resurrection line. And according to series writer Dennis Hopeless, which gives me a lot of hope, just because I've been loving Spider-Woman. But anyways, yeah, series writer Dennis Hope. This has been a long time coming. Hopeless and artist Victor Ibanez are setting the time-displaced young telepath on a path to understand her connection to the Phoenix Force to fight the futures that's prescribed for her before it returns. So that'll be interesting to finally see what they do with the little resurrection of the Phoenix. You know a little bit more about the Phoenix than I do. I know what happened, but you probably have a little bit more detail.
Yeah, because the Phoenix is essentially the collection of all the psionic energy in the universe, so that's why it leans a little bit more towards telepaths. I was afraid of this.
Yeah.
When I heard Jean was getting a comic, I was like, they're going to go into the Phoenix. And this could either go really, really good or really, really bad. I believe that, in my opinion, I think the power and the magnitude of what the Phoenix is has been watered down because they've used it so much in the X-Men.
Yes, they have.
And it kind of doesn't have that oomph anymore. It could here because she already has gathered from other people's memories of the original, of the other Jean, the older Jean. She's gathered from everybody's memories what happened to her. And kind of like what we're seeing with Cyclops and we're seeing with Beast, she doesn't want to become that person. So I think that does lead a potential area to have a very good story, even though they're involved in the Phoenix. Like maybe she actually manages to reject the Phoenix Force, or I don't know. I think for me that's what needs to happen. I think that this Jean, since she knows what happens with her and the Phoenix Force, that she needs to find a way to reject it so that they can they need to take that from over her head. That's hanging over her head too much. Because Jean Grey was a good character. The idea of giving her the power of the Phoenix was a good idea. When she died the first time, it was powerful. When she came back, it was cool. It's comic books, people die, come back all the time, but it was still cool. It was still pretty fresh for that idea to happen. But then you keep bringing the Phoenix Force in, you keep killing her and bringing her back, and then bringing the Phoenix Force in, killing her and bringing her back.
Gets a little dull.
I mean,
after a while.
Yeah, it gets old after a while, and you're kind of taking away the growth that she was getting. She grew from the first time she had the Phoenix Force. That was a stronger Jean between when she was Marvel Girl and after she had the Phoenix. Those are two different Jeans. Like the Jean before the Phoenix and the Jean after the Phoenix are two completely different Jean Greys. And then you can see her evolution over the years. Even when they decided to, take the Phoenix Force away for a while, she was a stronger character. Then they were like, well, it's Jean Grey. Let's bring the Phoenix Force back into it. I mean, yeah, I guess you do it and get it out the way because we all know Jean. We know the Phoenix Force is still out there somewhere. So I guess do it and get it out the way, but don't dwell on it.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Resurrection news that we've heard so far, I'm just like, I'm going to give it. I'm not like, I'm excited but not ecstatic. to see what they do with it. I guess I'm more intrigued to see what they do with Resurrection before I get like super hyped for it. Because yeah, it could go really well or it could go really bad real quick, and I don't want it to go bad.
That's how I feel about this.
Yeah. Yeah, I think
that's how I feel about Jean.
Yeah, Jean Grey might be one of the ones that could be a huge miss.
I was interested when they announced Jean was getting the comic because most of the people they announced solo issues for are people that have never had solo issues before, and that intrigued me to do something with characters or iconic characters, but having for whatever reason never had a solo issue or solo run. And then we get here and we hear the Phoenix Force mentioned in the same breath as Jean Grey's.
And that was the first thing I saw. That was the first thing I saw when I saw the news. I saw Phoenix. I saw Jean Grey and like bold. It was Phoenix. I just like put my head down. Like, no, do something different. Like, I know it's Resurrection, but we don't need to resurrect the Phoenix. Like you were saying.
True, we don't.
It's been done a lot.
I'm going to be hesitant about this. I'm going to give it a shot because, like I said, I think if they actually have her rejected, that would be great.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just like with Spider-Man and the Clone Conspiracy. Like, a lot of people saw the word Spider-Man and they saw a clone in there and they was like, nope, and they X'd out on it. And so far, the Clone Conspiracy has actually been a pretty good story. I wouldn't have expected it to be as good as it is, based off of the last, debacle they had with doing clones and Spider-Man.
Yeah.
So it could be the same thing with the Phoenix. We could be seeing the word Phoenix and Jean Grey's name in the same sentence and start cringing, like you said, and palm the face. But then it could be good. So let's just...
We'll definitely see.
We'll proceed with caution on this.
Yeah, I'd like to... I think once some of these titles start to come out, I might hit up this guy, Beamer. That's his Twitter handle, but he's on the part of the Get Fresh crew. Shout out. But he does Marvel Minutes, and I was talking to him a little bit about this, and he's a little hesitant about it more just because he's tired of the younger characters. I guess he's grown out of the younger phase, but he said he's still looking forward to it to see what they do with it. So I'd like to get him on once some of these books come out. But let's get to the last one for the Marvel news. Please,
this is what I've really been waiting for to get to.
Same here. So this again, it's from Newsarama. Generation X is lovable losers not cut out for the X-Men, says writer. Marvel's upcoming Generation X aren't the next generation of X-Men, but rather misfits inside the walls of Xavier's new institute. The creative team, team lineup, and plot details for the Generation X title is coming out early 2017, which kind of buzzed me out because I really wanted some details.
Yes.
This is the one I really, really cared about. But anyways, Generation X title coming out early 2017 as part of Inhumans X-Men Resurrection line have been revealed over at CBR. But we did get a little bit of information. Colorist turned writer Christina Strain and artist, I may pronounce this wrong, and my apologies, Amakokar Pina will be revising the 90s era team as a group of lovable losers who are outsiders in Xavier's Institute set in Central Park. Led by one-time Generation X member Jubilee, the team has been classified as neither potential X-Men or potential ambassadors for mutant kind, but rather lovable losers, as Strain calls them. So I guess we got a little bit of detail, so I'll retract on that. But we didn't get as much as I wanted. I guess we got a little tease of what's coming with that. But this one
sounds awesome.
Yeah, I'm all about it.
This sounds so awesome in so many ways, because even when they had the original Generation X run, that's what they seemed like. The original Generation X seemed like mutants who were never ever going to be on the X-Men team. Mm-hmm. They weren't going to be there.
No.
And the fact that we have Jubilee leading the team, I put that in the same vein as having Kitty Pryde leading the X-Men Gold team.
Yeah, same. I would agree.
I think that I think that Jubilee is a character that's grown over years, whether you love her, whether you hate her or whatever. But it'll be very interesting to see her in the leadership position. It will also be interesting to see how she relates this new Generation X team to the original. Is she going to compare them while she's, assembling the team or training them or whatever? Is she going to compare and tell them, about the original team? Is the original team going to have anything to do with this? Are any of the original members other than Jubilee going to pop up on the team? I know from the teaser cover they had, it looked like they're going to be assembling people from the original team and some of the other Teenage Mutant groups, who all versions of the different Teenage Mutant groups who weren't X-Men seemed like outsiders. Yeah. That cover that they had even had X-23 on it, and X-23 was on the X-Men for a little bit. Yeah, but even then, she just didn't seem like she. Yeah, but she didn't seem like she fit in on the X-Men. Like she didn't. It was kind of like they forced her onto the X-Men. So it would be really interesting to see this, and also the fact that they're going to open up a new institute and essentially have it in where they say in the middle of the city, pretty much.
Yeah, Central Park.
In Central, that's going to be interesting because now we're getting a change in location. I mean, the X Mansion is in New York, but to put it in the actual city because the Xavier Institute is like on the outskirts.
Yep. So maybe there'll be more.
So this
city based, not city based, but city stories even.
Yeah.
Focusing on local level stuff.
I'm just so interested in this title since they announced it. Like, I'm just interested, and it seems like this is the one we're getting the least amount of information on.
And that and Cable is the ones that I wanted the most info on.
Yep. But I just think this one has a lot of potential. I think this has so much potential. I think when the original Generation X came out, most of the world comic book readers weren't really necessarily ready for that kind of idea.
Yeah.
Because they were kind of, still comparing them to the X-Men. But I think this is a time where we can have a team like this and it'll work. Do I think this is going to be the best-selling book of the year? No. Do I think it's going to do really, really well? Yeah, I do. I think this has the potential to shock a lot of people.
Yeah, and I'm not familiar with the writer or the artist, and it sounds like Christina Strain is a female on the book, which is awesome. And I'm not sure about Omakar Pina. I'll have to do a little bit of research into them to see what else they've done, because Christina was a colorist, now turned writer.
Yeah.
So I'm all about that to see what they do. But yeah, this and Cable are the books I want the most info on right now, for sure.
Agreed. I would agree with that. I want to see what they're going to do with Cable. I definitely want to know what they're going to do with this Generation X. I am so pumped to find out more about this title and actually to read it. Like, I really want to read this. Like, I want to read this now.
Same here. No doubt. Cool. Well, yeah. And so, yeah, from there we have, this is the last bit of comic news. This is pulled from CBR.com. I just wanted to throw it in there because I know, Alan, you don't read Faith, but I've been reading it lately. But they announced a new artist. Joe Idzma joins Valiant's Faith in January. Starting in the new year, Faith will have a new artist, and CBR has the first details. Morning Glory's co-creator, Joe Idzma, will join the book for a 2-issue stint starting in January with Faith number 7. While Isma, which I may be pronouncing wrong, is best known for Morning Glories, which I am not familiar with, which he launched at Image back in 2010, alongside with writer Nick Spencer. Nick, who's currently also the artist on Archie Comics' main Archie series, written by Mark Waid. Isma joins Faith writer Jody Hauser and artist Marguerite Sauvage, who illustrates the series fantasy sequences. So it sounds like Joe will fit right in with what I've been reading, and because I know the Archie comics kind of have sometimes the same style as Faith. So I just wanted to throw that in there for any Valiant fans and Faith fans. It's been a decent book so far. I've been enjoying it. I was going to mention this later too, like just the diversity in comics, and not that anything has to do with it in the book, but she is like one of the main plus size like superheroes out there right now, and they don't play on it at all, and it's just about her being a finding her way after being part of the Harbingers, which I still need to go back and read the Harbinger Wars to see where all the other books spun out of, because I've heard good things about it, and I'm a big Valiant fan. I got hooked onto them within like the last year or so, but they've been doing some good stuff, and I will continue to support them. But that is all the comic news that we have, and again, we are going to be spoiling the books before we get into these comics. And first, we have your book starting off.
Yes, Inhumans versus X-Men number 0, which is interesting because I didn't think that they were going to go into a 0 issue for this. I figured they would just jump right into the main series, but that doesn't take away from this book the fact that it's a 0, and that is that bridge between the story arcs helps this book a lot. But this book essentially takes place 8 months, so it's probably about 2 months after Death of X happened. It's been a couple months since Death of X happened, and there's been a treaty made between the Inhumans and the mutants where they're gonna be on good terms for this time period while Hank McCoy Beast and one of their top scientists tries to figure out if there's a way to create a vaccination or a way to counteract what the Terrigen Mist actually does to mutants. And while they're doing this, we get glimpses of Emma Frost, who is at the site of what appears to be Cyclops' grave. And she keeps jumping off of a cliff with a stopwatch, and then she'll turn into her diamond form and crash. And the Cuckoos actually pop up and ask her what she's doing, and said that she's trying to find out a way to actually transform into her diamond form faster, because she knows that there's a war coming, and she's going to need to be able to diamond up as fast as possible. And they kind of remind her that Cyclops died long before Black Bolt supposedly killed him, and they remind her that she was actually, the one who set up the fake psychic death of Cyclops. And for whatever reason, she doesn't seem to remember it. She thinks that it was actually Cyclops that was there and jumped in front of Black Bolt and died. She forgets that he died on Muir's Island. And while this is going on, we keep getting glimpses of Hank working with the Inhumans, and we keep skipping like 2 months at a time, and we get to see them working and trying to figure out how to counteract this Terrigen Mist. So they have like a sample of it, and they eventually find out that they can't come up with a cure within the time that they thought, because the Terrigen Mist affects each mutant's DNA differently. So instead of coming up with one cure, they would have to come up with hundreds of cures for different mutants. Some mutants get contact with the mist and nothing happens to them. Some of them get the Mpox, which is from an old X-Men storyline, and each person's DNA just reacts differently. While this is going on, Emma is actually traveling around, making contacts, building her army and her forces for the war she knows is going to come. So she meets with Magneto and talks with Magneto about going to war. Magneto kind of doesn't want to, for the same reason that most people didn't want to go to battle with the mutants, because the things that some of the Inhumans can do are kind of scary and pretty overpowered a little bit.
They got Black Bolt?
He realized that because the mutants... No. Huh?
Oh, so they got Black Bolt?
When he realized that the mutant... he talks about Black Bolt. But there's not really as many mutants as there used to be. And the fact that it's more every day because of the Terrigen cloud, a little unsettled. And while this is going on, she asks him to hurl a bottle at her as fast as he can, and he refuses to do it. And then she essentially calls Magneto a coward, and this upsets him. At her, she diamonds up, thanks him, and then we go back to Beast, who has gone to the Savage Land to actually collect samples there, because he's saying this is an untouched part of the world. There should be no part of the Terrigen Mist here, because they've noticed that the second Terrigen Mist cloud that's still floating around is actually shrinking. So where is it going? Is it being absorbed into different parts of the world? Is it shrinking because as people become inhumans, they actually ingest some of the cloud and that causes it to shrink? So he's trying to make sure that this mist isn't going everywhere, that it's not contaminating everywhere, especially a place like the Savage Land. We also get Emma trying to recruit some of the young X-Men. She tries to recruit Cyclops, Beast, and Iceman. And when she sees young Cyclops, she actually breaks down and starts crying. Eyes over her dead husband. I was wondering what they were going to do with that and how they were going to go with that. We also get to see Beast finally make the declaration to Medusa that there's no cure he can make, that they don't have enough time for him to actually come up with a cure because of how severe. We also get Emma meeting with somebody who they don't really show, but it's somebody from the Hellfire Club. And I'm guessing it's the Black Queen, because we know it's a woman. So I'm guessing it's the Black Queen. What was her name? Rachel, I think her name was.
Yeah, I was hoping you might
something like that.
You would know for me, because I couldn't figure it out. I even tried to look it up to get an idea. I couldn't figure it out.
Well, I think it's the Black Queen, which would be interesting because technically she's the first mutant. So that would be interesting to go get the first mutant to say, hey, our race is facing extinction. I know you haven't really been doing anything lately, which she comments on. Like she doesn't know. She's just in because of her reputation, and she's anxious to. And then we end with Beast contemplating. They don't really say where his line of thinking is going. It's on Beast's mind, literally. And he's thinking about some of the biggest events that affected the X-Men and infected mutants, which included like the death of the original Wolverine, the Sentinels, Cyclops gaining the Phoenix Force and killing Professor X, Apocalypse, the Brood. Like he's got a lot on his mind.
Yeah.
And the comic ends with Emma and Storm sitting down having a conversation. And she's asking Storm if she's prepared for what's obviously going to happen. And Storm has something in the works, but isn't really too sure about it. And she's a little scared about what's going to happen. And Emma says, well, don't worry. I have a plan. And it ends there. I think this was a great issue for setting up what's going on. I love the use of the timeline where it starts from 8 months to 6 months to 4 months to 2 months. It counts down essentially where issue 1 is probably going to start with the war beginning.
Mm-hmm.
It gives you a sense of false hope at first because you see Beast is on it. You see they have the top Inhuman scientists on it. The way that they're talking about it seems like they could probably figure something out, but it might be, cutting it really, really close. And then when you get to reveal that the issue with the mist is it affects everybody differently, so you can't really make one set cure.
Yeah,
really shows you like this is kind of almost a hopeless type thing for them to deal with, because they would need something that's akin to Wolverine's healing factor or something that can adapt to whatever it is. And obviously Beast either hasn't gotten to that point yet, or he's like, we can't make anything like that because that's impossible for us to make.
It'll take forever. Yeah.
I love seeing Emma because I was wondering at the end of Death of X4 where
she would be,
and it already has lost her mind. Huh?
So I still don't trust her. Yeah, she definitely lost her mind, and I didn't buy her.
I
crying.
don't trust her either.
I didn't buy her little diamond cry. I was like, get out of here! I ain't buying it. But it was the first sign of emotion.
You saw young Cyclops.
Yeah, it was like the first sign of emotion though that we've seen since Death of X.
I bought the tears, but the problem is that I think she's literally lost her mind because when she talked to the Cuckoos, she thinks that
Black
Cyclops
killed her,
bought into Cyclops being the one that sacrifices himself.
Yeah.
I think she lied enough to the point where she believes her own lie.
Herself, I agree, yeah.
And so I think between her believing her own lie, and I do think she cared for Cyclops, I think that really took a toll on her by the straw that broke the camel's back. I at the end of Death of X4, I said she looked like she was just about to go insane. I still think that in this issue, I think she's already gone insane, but she's driven and motivated to fight this war.
Yeah, I think Beast might have been my favorite character.
And that makes it
this
even.
book.
Yeah, that's what I was saying earlier when you were talking about the difference between, you know, Beast Road then and Beast Road now. This was essentially mostly a Beast book.
Yeah.
Love the way where they still kept the fun Beast, where he was still cracking jokes like he used to do and everything. But at the scientist, he was still like, I need to figure this out. We can figure this out. There's hope. We don't need to give up.
And what was her
Even
name?
when he tells Medusa that they can't come up with a cure right now, he doesn't necessarily say it's impossible.
Yeah, it just
but
says
they don't have the time.
Yeah, they don't have the time because they'd have to make each individual one. I'm trying to remember the Inhuman scientist's name because their dialogue was great throughout the whole book. But yeah, like you were saying,
it was like ISO or something like that.
ISO, yeah, you're right. But yeah, like you were saying, like for anyone that's about to hop into this big event, this was a good setup for that. It mentioned a lot of stuff from the first Death of X issue that they touched on. They kind of replayed some of that stuff. The art was I'm gonna say top notch. It was way better than Death of X artwork. That was very pleasing, very pleasing. I love art in this. And Storm was drawn great. Emma Frost kind of.
I was wondering that when I got to the end of the book and I saw Storm sitting there, I was like, yeah, I wonder how he's going to feel about Storm this time.
Emma Frost may have been the only one that really stuck out that didn't fit in the book. But even then, the art was still good. The art borders that they were doing around there, with like the shattered, like the shards in the background and some of the borders on the panels. I thought that was a nice little touch to everything.
I think my favorite panel in this book is the last shot you get of Beast when he's thinking.
Yes, I would agree.
I love the way that was drawn and how they drew, like literally you're seeing what's on his mind. You know, they drew it on his head so you can literally see what he's thinking about. And also everything he's thinking about were incidents where it seemed almost impossible that they would win or survive.
Get out of it, yeah.
With exception for the death of Wolverine, which did hit them hard. It hit a lot of the mutants hard when they found out Wolverine died. But everything else, like Apocalypse, Brood, the Cyclops thing, the Sentinels and everything, all of those were things where they thought mutants would become extinct.
Yeah.
And like this could be another one of those incidents, but we've made it through all of these incidents before. There's got to be a way. It's something I'm overlooking. Maybe he's trying to see how they can learn from those incidents.
Yeah, and to go back to Emma crying, because that was when Cyclops came out, because like she had mentioned when she was talking to the younger ones, and then young Scott Summers pops out, and see, it made me like just think because she saw Scott Summers that she may feel bad for what she's done, but at the same time, I'm still thinking, she's batshit crazy, and I'm still not buying the tear. I think she's maybe still faking the funk, just for the surrounding team, and she even cut the Beast off, at the end, because she's like, can I count on you? And he's like starting to talk, and he's like, of course, we'll do what? And like she cuts him off. She's like, that's good enough. I'll be back soon. So then that really solidified that I still don't trust her, and she's up to something real bad. And if it is the Black Queen that you mentioned being the first mutant, that we'll definitely have to see where this goes with the with issue 1. But yeah, I didn't expect a 0 issue either. I figured they were going to go right into it. But it probably makes sense just to do it, just for anyone who didn't read Death of X, or anyone who heard about this and they're like, yeah, I want to jump on, but I have no idea what's going on. So that's probably why they rehashed some of the first issue of Death of X, I felt like. But overall, it wasn't a bad book. It was just setting up everything that's about to go down. catching people up?
I think that is about to go down, but I do think they needed this Zero issue because I'm seeing how they're doing the story, and Death of X was supposed to explain something that happened a year ago, and that seems like it maybe only took a month or so to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Not even a month. So obviously, a year later is when the war happens. So they need to fill in that gap in between, and that's what Zero does with them counting down the different months. Is filling in the gap because it starts with 8 months ago.
Yeah,
and then it ends 2 months.
And we didn't even mention the Terrigen levels rising high in Savage Land, and it was really cool to see Savage Land because I haven't seen that in forever. Just I don't read a lot of X books, but that's another issue. That's probably another big key part of this issue is the Terrigen saturation rate was going up like super high, and he played it off with ISO. She's like, "Are you all right?" He's like, "Yeah, don't worry about it." And then that's when we get that panel of him thinking about all the back history.
This is the thing that I was just talking, and it starts with 8 months, and then it goes to yesterday. So this is an 8-month period. So between Death of X and this, we have a full year that's leading up to issue 1. We know what happened with that missing year for the X-Men. With issue 0 right here, we have a complete story of what happened for that missing year. And now we can get to what obviously is going to be what's going on now.
Yeah.
So all of this essentially between issue 0 and the 4-part Death of X storyline flashback telling us like this is what we missed out on. This is what happened over that year. And now with issue 1 of Inhumans versus X-Men, we're going to actually be in the present.
Yeah, I'm sure we'll
I think this was a solid issue.
Yeah, we'll definitely cover issue 1 and give it a chance and see where they go with all this. Because is it the same writer?
Yeah,
is it the same creative team for IVX? Do you know?
I have no idea. Let's see. Well, one of them is.
Okay.
There's
one. I heard a lot about him. I heard he's good.
Yeah.
That's good stuff. And I see it in this book. That'd be cool if he's still on it. Him and Dan Brown did the... Kenneth Rockford did the art, and Dan Brown did the colors for this book. And it was written by Charles Soule, and I haven't really been digging.
Yeah, Charles Soule looks like he's going to be the writer for the series because he's tagged on there for writing number 1 also. So I'm guessing Charles Soule is probably going to be the main writer for this.
I wish he would just stick with this, give Daredevil to someone else. Yeah, I was talking about that to someone earlier. We're talking about some old Daredevil, and then I mentioned Charles Soule, and like, yeah, it's kind of bland right now. But cool, yeah. This is
it'll be all right. You'll get your good Daredevil story pretty soon.
Yeah, we'll see.
You get your Daredevil.
See. That's why I have to keep watching the TV show. But cool, yeah. We'll move on from there. Old Man Logan. This is part of a new arc called Monster War Part 1. Looks like we got Jeff Lemire writing, artist Felipe Andrade, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, on the inks, and one of my favorite color artists, Jordi Belair, on colors, and VC's Corey Pettit doing the letters. So yeah, this was... I haven't read an Old Man Logan book since the first volume came out. I read all of that, but I didn't catch up with because this is the second volume, correct?
This is the third sequence.
Okay, so I've missed out on a lot then. But so getting right into it, just a quick recap. Yeah. Sentinel informs Logan Jubilee has gone missing. So Logan makes his way to pick up Jubilee's daughter, to leave with the Sentinel to babysit. The Sentinel then teleports Logan to Jubilee's last known location in Romania, and on arrival, he gets into an altercation with a paranormal SHIELD division, the Howling Commandos. After a brief scuffle, they learn they're both on the same side, and out looking for the same thing. The Howling Commandos have also come to Romania to search for a missing member, Vampire, or Vampire by Night is what her name is. And it turns out vampires are under Dracula's control, and they're all showing up to his castle for some reason or another. And after they make a plan to have the Paranormal SHIELD division, Howling Commandos, I'll get into why I say Paranormal SHIELD division first. Logan sends them in to cause a distraction while he goes through the tunnels to find where Jubilee is. And after he does find her, he's caught off guard, and the issue ends with him being attacked by Dracula. And the next issue is Old Man Logan versus Dracula, Dawn of Justice. I did not expect. I'd expect that from a Deadpool book, but I did not expect that from. They're definitely playing on the BVS. I thought that was funny.
Love it.
But yeah, overall, this is for not reading Logan in a while. I've always been a fan of Logan and Old Man Logan alone. So this is really cool. The whole Sentinel babysitting thing, the whole Sentinel interaction with him and Logan,
that was hilarious.
Alone was great.
Yeah, that by itself.
And then Logan leaves the Jubilee's baby with the Sentinel to babysit, and then him and the baby have the Sentinel and the baby have their little moment. That was great. Then what else is there? The reason why I kept saying Paranormal SHIELD division, the Howling Commandos first, is because you have the original Howling Commandos, the originals, and then the Paranormal SHIELD division. You may know this. Have they been around for a while, or is this brand new? Because it felt brand new.
I think this is pretty new, because this is actually my first time seeing them all together. I think they did something with them in Secret Wars, maybe. But this is my first time seeing them all together, because when he first got attacked, I was like, oh, that's Man-Thing.
Okay.
And I was like, what's Man-Thing doing there? And then the rest of them started coming out, and then they said they were the Howling Commandos. I was like, oh, okay.
No, I like that a lot, them playing.
So, yeah, they're pretty new.
That's cool. Yeah, I like the idea of having a paranormal vision of Howling Commandos. Just I've been reading all the Hellboy and BPRD stuff lately, so I've been all about paranormal and weird shit. But overall, this is a fun issue. Logan kind of takes the alpha role when they decide to,
of course,
to decide to invade the castle. I thought that was great. And he was like, "Get that damn monkey away from me!" Because previously it was the first thing that attacked him when they got in that scuffle.
They kept calling him Old Wolverine.
Yeah, and he's like, call me that again, and pretty much I'll fuck you up. I guess my only flaw with this book, I still have some positives as well. I think, I guess I wasn't excited to see a Dracula story coming up. I know Jubilee is a vampire now, which I'd still not. If I would have read House of M, like you mentioned earlier, off air, I probably would maybe have liked it. I may have not have liked it, but I guess I'm not sold on the idea of her being a vampire. And I will hopefully get past this 3-issue or 2-issue Dracula arc, and I'd like to see them do something more with Logan and Jubilee, Old Man Logan and Jubilee, opposed to playing on a Dracula tale. But it makes sense why the Paranormal SHIELD division is there, though. So at least you have that. You have the entertainment in this book. But that was probably really my only flaw or my dislike of the book.
Yeah, I was aware that Julie's a vampire now, and that she lost her powers after the House of M and the M Day thing. The last book I actually read of her in it was the Jubilee Wolverine crossover miniseries. It's like a 4-issue miniseries where they talked about this. Wolverine was trying to give her a blood transfusion to try to keep her from turning into a vampire. So I'm in a vampire Jubilee. I'm kind of hoping maybe this is the beginning of a setup to turn her back into a mutant so that she can be able to actually lead the Generation X team. I don't want to see Vampire Jubilee lead the Generation X team.
No.
I want to see Mutant Jubilee lead the Generation X team.
Same here. I love the art in the book. I thought it was solid.
Good art, good colors.
Yeah. The Sentinel, it still cracks me up that the Sentinel. There's a couple Sentinels that are like cool. They're all on the good side now, which I'm glad they did that. They could have done it in a cheesy way, but here it worked perfectly. I thought he's actually like kind of smart, opposed to like in the past, like the ones I've seen that have like turned normal have been like dumb, but he's actually pretty smart one.
He was like, "Are you sure you wouldn't just want me to drop her off and babysit?"
Yeah.
Like, why are you giving me the human infant?
He's like, I can accompany you.
He's like, nah, just go back, take the baby.
That'd have been cool if we would have saw more of that at the end, but I'm sure we'll see it probably the next issue or so. Because we won't.
That'd be awesome.
We won't talk about fucking Spider-Gwen again, but this cover and the story, matched up with everything that was going on. It was not a fake out, unlike Spider-Gwen. Yeah, I said it, Spider-Gwen.
Yeah.
Come out for me, Spider-Gwen. Even though it didn't.
It's funny because we do have a book this week that has, in my opinion, a fake out cover. So anybody who's been reading comics long enough knows that you can't always go by the cover, which is a shame. But sometimes artists will do an awesome cover, and you're like, "Oh, that book, this must be so good," and then you get into it, and the cover has zero to do with what's in the book.
Yeah.
So sad.
It is. But yeah, there was really not too much to the issue. Essentially, just kind of really set up where they're going. Logan has a team with them. Got the paranormal Howling Commandos. So I'll definitely we'll definitely keep continuing this book. As long as it doesn't fall on a holiday, so we won't get any holiday issues from this book.
You don't think that this may somehow take place during Christmas some point in this story arc?
Maybe get a New Year's issue, them all partying, drinking blood.
Yeah. That's what he called all the vampires back for. He called them all back for his New Year's Eve party.
Okay, alright. That actually would be funny if they do that. And I'd read that and probably enjoy it. As long as they didn't fake us out and tease us for 3 months. But yeah, that's all I have. That's all I have for Old Man Logan.
Well, I guess that means we can jump to the next book, which is Suicide Squad number 7, which has a misleading cover.
Yes.
Features Katana on the cover, and you're thinking you're about to get a Katana issue, and she gets in. And she's in like 3 pages, I think, and gets taken out pretty fast. But we get a little small backstory about General Zod being in the Phantom Zone in the beginning, and then we snap back to the previous events from the last book, where the Bell Ray facility is still in turmoil. Everyone's still going crazy. Harley Quinn is and she's being chased by Katana. And she actually takes Katana out, which kind of surprised me. I wasn't expecting a sane Harley Quinn to be able to handle anybody in that facility, but she does. And she actually talks to Amanda Waller, who's actually barely holding on to her sanity, and tells her that the room that Zod is in is actually, the lights have been switched over to Yellow Sun, and she needs to go down there and find a way to switch the lights off and turn the computers back on so that they can depower him in that room, and also hopefully return everybody back to being normal. Harley is actually considering like leaving. She's like, haven't been sane in years, and a sane person would take this and just go and just live a normal life. But she doesn't make that decision. She manages to take out a lot of people in the facility, which was very impressive the way she takes them out with the taser. Then she also ends up running into Killer Croc and Cindy Moon, and she finds out that the pod not only turns people's darkest fears on, it also turns on their deepest desires. And it seems that Killer Croc and Cindy Moon and Killer Croc doesn't like that interruption, because what she does is Harley tases Cindy Moon, and Killer Croc, takes offense to that because it's someone who actually cares about him, actually loves him. And then we also get a flash of what's her name, Hack, who has figured out that the problem with the system was the virus that she downloaded when she saved the team from the mission they had. I believe it was in Russia. And what we find out is that it appears that this virus somehow is Captain Boomerang. Like somehow Captain Boomerang's consciousness was downloaded into this virus, and then she brought it into the system. Just like with the previous Suicide issues, we also get a backup story in the back. And I was pretty convinced that it was either going to be Harley Quinn or Katana.
Yeah, same.
But it turns out Cindy Moon, the Enchantress. And it's a pretty interesting story about how Enchantress actually had the opportunity to have another demon remove the bomb implanted in Cindy Moon's head, which would actually free her, because Cindy Moon, and as long as Amanda Waller has that bomb, she can kill her host, which would essentially kill Enchantress. And what happens is Enchantress actually lets Cindy Moon come out so the demon can actually try to take the chip out. But what neither one of them expected was the fact that she has found a way to kind of switch interest a little bit and also gain access to some of that power. And she actually uses some of those mystical powers to defeat the demon all by herself about Enchantress, which is an interesting thought. And I thought it was pretty interesting the way that they put that together. This was a pretty good issue. It definitely continues the story along at a pretty. It definitely cancels out my previous that the backup issues were going to focus on whoever the main characters seem to be in each story. Mm-hmm. Because the first one they focused on Hack, and then the second one they focused on Killer Croc. So I figured that this one, since it was focusing on Harley Quinn, the main story was going to be another backup issue of Harley Quinn, but instead we got Cindy Moon. So I'm still interested to see where this is going to head to.
Yeah,
I want to see.
I was kind of the opposite. I was a little down on this issue. Yeah, it was a fake out. I mean, we didn't get we got that little bit of Zod, and we finally got the answer that it wasn't Zod causing the virus. So that was cool to finally realize. So we know that Hack brought it in. But yeah, I mean, it's just moving really slow for me personally, and I'd like to see them get past all this and deal with either Zod or really just get out of Bel Rev and get them on a mission of some sort, or just move the story along. And because that's pretty much it. It was okay to me. Deadshot should have been burnt to pieces when El Diablo lit his ass up.
But like he just went Firestorm when El Diablo just went crazy and just burnt everything. Like, you're right, he should have been burned.
But I like the way that she did take down Diablo. That was interesting. Shooting him with the razor or the taser and having him like freak out and shoot the ceiling with the because Bel Rev off. Yeah, because Bel Rev was prepared for that sort of thing. What else was there? I actually enjoyed Jim Lee's art more in this issue more.
Yeah.
And probably the backup story actually saved it for me as well. Yeah, because we didn't get much of June Moon besides Harley tasing her, because Waller needed her to turn into Enchantress in order to help out with the yellow light. But but moving back to the backstory, I enjoyed it, and the reveal at the end was an interesting payoff, because the husband actually killed the woman after she released the demon from him, and there was a line at the end that was really good. Let's see if I can find it real quick.
It was part of the last line, wasn't it?
Yeah, because the guy's like, "I didn't mean to," and June says, "Strangle her? No, I think you did." And then as she's walking out of the house, she's like, "You're not gonna like what's inside there." But I thought it was interesting payoff to see that the actually demon was inside that guy, and it probably shouldn't have been released or let go, and he's the real demon. So, and the art was really solid for that backstory.
That was definitely interesting for me in the backup issue. Also, the fact that she actually can tap into that power without turning into a Enchantress, I thought was interesting.
Yeah.
That issue, I can see your problems with the main story. When I saw Zod was involved, I was sure that once everyone started going insane, Zod was going to wake up and escape, and then everyone would slowly go back to normal, and then the team would be sent out to get Zod. That's where I thought this story was headed, but you could have done that in 2 issues.
Yeah.
Where you could have had,
that yellow light was
Zod
on for a while. It had to have been, the yellow light had to have been on for a while, because they did a lot within the little 15 issue page, or 15 issue comic of the main story. But I figured Boomerang would come back at some point. They can't kill him off.
You can't do that. If they're going to kill off a character and have him stay dead, it's going to be a character nobody cares about.
Yeah.
And you can say what you want about Boomerang. You can think Captain Boomerang is corny or whatever. He's an iconic character.
He is.
And he's tied first and foremost with Flash, obviously.
Yep.
But since Suicide Squad, he has been like Harley Quinn, Deadshot, Captain Boomerang are probably tied together with Suicide Squad. They've had other people in there, but they're the most tied together with them, especially since the Suicide Squad movie came out, because this team is the team from the movie.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, now that I see it, I don't think we're going to be moving much further soon with the next issue, because the next one's the Ballad of Boomerang. So I think we're going to be back in Bell Rev dealing with how to
probably going to be more the
getting Boomerang out.
It's probably going to be the explanation of. Well, that next issue is probably going to be the explanation of how he got his consciousness into that computer and all that and everything. So I would probably agree with you. I don't see them taking the story itself anywhere in particular right now.
No. Yeah, cause I don't know why I'm not sure how long Jim Lee's going to be doing art for this, because I feel since he's only doing 15 pages, or 13, it's either 13 or 14. I don't have a physical copy, I have the digital. But it just doesn't seem like you can get a lot of story in there. So I would like to see, nothing against Jim Lee, I would like to see either him have more pages to do. That way the writer can tell more of a story, or get a new artist, who can, do all 22 pages to move the story along. It's just moving kind of slow for me personally. But the backup art
is
always killing it.
I can see why you would say that. I can see why you feel it's moving slow. They are having some action sequences and stuff in here, but even then, it's nothing that seems like it's progressing the story yet.
Yeah. Because Zod's he's chilling there, getting his rest on. But by the time he gets out, he's going to be fully charged and ready to go. But
Yeah.
it seemed like, because at the beginning of the issue, that's the only time we get him, but he seems to be, a light comes through. So, hope maybe they'll play on it more next issue. We'll definitely see.
I hope so.
Yeah. Going a little slow for me. But I don't think I had much for that issue. Do you have anything else?
No.
Oh yeah. You already mentioned it, but Croc and June, I thought that was funny. That
Oh
was,
yeah,
that was
yeah. I
interesting
forgot about that. Yeah, that was funny because last time we saw them, it looked like he was about to kill her.
Yep.
Because remember, he broke out and was like he was going to bite her, and then we see Harley stumble upon them, and she's naked, and they're just laid up in there, and you're like, oh, okay, we know what just happened.
That'd have been awkward to walk into, but yeah, I like the explanation for that. The fact that it changes everyone's mind in different ways. So. But yeah, we can move on if you want.
Yeah, we can go ahead and jump on.
All right.
Jump to the next book.
Cool. So we are going to discuss Tank Girl Gold, number 2. And I just wanted to point out, did you get the Matt TV homage cover one?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah, when I first was looking at it, that's the first thing I noticed was like they did the Alfred E. Newman Mad TV cover with it. That's hilarious.
I was like, yep, got to get that. So I just wanted to point that out before we get into it. But this was quite an interesting book. Actually, let me give a little roll call on the creative team. So, Tank Girl Gold is written by Alan Martin, drawn and lettered by Brett Parson, and the additional colors by Ned Ivory. And Tank Girl and her friends are currently sitting on over $1 billion worth of gold from the previous issue. They're getting bored with wasting money on clothes, weed, Ataris, rockets, and other crazy shit. So they want to invest this money into something that's gonna live on and a legacy for them. So Tank Girl comes up with the idea to create a sport called Crennis, which we will get into later. But essentially, it's a mix between rugby, roller derby, tennis, with all sorts of bonker rules. And General Fletcher gets word Tank Girl is broadcasting her new sport on TV, and because she had recently has stolen the tank from him, and the army busts into the stadium to arrest Tank Girl. Her and her crew are able to get away. After their first business goes awry, they decide to blow the rest of the money on making a sports sci-fi movie. But first, we're going to tackle the first part of this before we get into before we get into their movie. But first, I'm going to give I'm just going to point out some of these Crennis rules that they have for this sport. Let's see. The double-ended tallywhacker serves as a dual-action catching and hitting device. What else? There was the ball is made of untreated lining of a beaver stomach, which has been ceremonially pumped full of fresh custard until it's firm and tight. And essentially, you have to hold, if I'm correct, if I can remember this, you have to pretty much hold get the Crennis ball and hold it in the goal for 10 or 30 seconds without getting the Crennis ball popped or whatever. But there were just all sorts of bunker rules. Like anyone could join. It didn't matter what race you were, what animal type you were, what bizarre animal you could have been. It was just all around.
It's like 17 to 18 players.
Yeah, 17 to 18 players.
It was like 17 to 18 players.
You can ride
with the go-karts.
Yeah, you can ride go-karts, a toy bike. Definitely worth, we could spend 20 minutes just discussing the history of this Crennis this Crennis ball game.
Yeah, because it was extensive.
Yeah, very extensive. But it's worth picking up to learn about this. But yeah,
you would have thought that was an actual sport with how in depth they went with it,
and the art, because it was because when they did the explanation for the sport, it was all black and white, and it had that sports page feel, like the letters, and then you had example pictures.
Yeah, almost.
I fucking love this book. I've been wanting to read a Tank Girl book for a while because I still have a couple back issues that I just never got around to. But I saw that they were doing a new arc, so we had caught up on it. But yeah, what did you think of this first half?
The first half was ridiculous. Just like you said, I've got a couple of old Tank Girl issues sitting. I just haven't read them yet. We decided to do this. I started reading it. My experience with Tank Girl was the movie from the 90s.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm working in something like, yeah, this is kind of funny. I recognize some of the characters, a couple characters I didn't recognize. And then they made the decision to do this sport. I'm like, okay, so they're going to do a sport. And then you see, like you just said, you go to the example page where it's like the rule book with the diagrams. So
like, it is like the rules are in
so
depth.
Extensive.
Like they crammed they crammed so much. Like I could it would probably take me 10 minutes to explain the rules of this game. But after that, after they finally explain all the rules, and they're having essentially while they're explaining the rules of the game, it's actually happening on live TV. Man, that's when Captain that wasn't his General Fletcher is sitting on his mom's couch in his underwear watching TV, and his mom tells him that he gets a call, and it's actually one of the captain of the station, and he's telling him that Tank Girl's been sighted on TV. And it was funny because he was like, "Are you sure it's her?" And he's like, "I'm positive. We used our latest image recognition technology." And it matches the player's butt cheeks, and he's holding up a picture of Tank Girl's butt in her jeans. And because we didn't talk about the first issue, the first issue was I think a little bit more cruder than this one. This was pretty tame. Did you get a chance to read Gold 1?
I actually did.
So yeah, that was a little cruder than this. But this was definitely a fun issue. But yeah, pretty much it kind of wraps it up with and then they have the jet outside, which I thought was funny that even though the army invaded
the good guy double parked the jet.
Yeah, double parking the jet.
Good guy double parked the jet.
And the army could have blown it up.
She's talking about the parking ticket.
Yeah. And granted, the army could have blown it up so she didn't get away, but that's just the bunkers of this book that I love. But yeah, so then that's when once they get back to the house, they still figure they have half of the gold left, and they're just coming up with ideas now, and this is where they come up with to do a sports sci-fi movie. Did you have anything else on before we go to the second part of this book?
No, because as much as I like the first part, the second part was my favorite part about this book.
Nice. Well, let's get into. I guess I should have mentioned this is kind of like a 2-part issue, and it was like I remember counting it, and I think it was 29 pages of actual stuff, which is pretty impressive for a $3.99 book. And then you get some back issue stuff in the back. So yeah, the movie that they decided to do is called Safe in Your Spiral Dreams. And it's a space odyssey where hot rods have been turned into star cars and are able to travel in space. And Tank Girl stars as Ruck Starmonger, and her car has been stolen. So Ruck borrows Hanks, who's played by Boga. So they borrowed Boga's dad's car to search the quadrant, and after a while they have no luck, and Tank Girl, I'm just going to say Tank Girl, but she stars as Ruck. Tank Girl gets good news when her friends show up and tell her the car has been sighted at a local ice cream store. So Tank Girl finds her car, which now is in the hands of an old friend, Sharon Cluster, who is actually played by Subgirl. And Subgirl she tells her that she won the car in a game of bunko, which is quote a thing for cards, if that sounds familiar from a certain movie. And then Sharon Cluster challenges Ruck Starmonger to a race through asteroids, if that also sounds familiar. The race goes badly, and Sharon crashes Ruck's car into an asteroid, and Sharon dies, which wraps up the movie. And so they find out they have some leftover film, and they decide to film Tank Girl and her crew just brawl it out and have fun. So they film it, and they put that into the movie. So they have this big premiere, and they're walking the red carpet, and the issue ends with Boga pointing out that there's a squadron of army tanks heading their way. So how they expected to be able to premiere this and not have the army come after him, which was quite
Who
fascinating.
knows?
But you go ahead and take it away with your thoughts on this second part, and I'll give my 2 cents.
Oh, this second part was hilarious because when they were even brainstorming it and they were like trying to figure out what to do with the rest of the go, and they was like, well, we could build a spaceship, or we could invest money in finding cures for diseases and do all this other stuff and still have enough money left over. Yeah. And then they were like, let's do what's that last thing you said? And they decided on the movie, and then they all were pitching what the movie should be, and they all dressed up in different costumes, and they were like, there was the space sports movie, but then there was like,
it was a cowboy musical.
What was the one?
It was a cowboy musical.
Yeah, that's what it was. It was like,
then sport, romance, and horror, sport, rude, and then sport and science fiction and fantasy. So yeah, then they just like
that brainstorm session was hilarious.
Put them all together.
And then the actual movie itself was ridiculous. You were saying how they converted the street rods into space cruisers and stuff, but we're talking like 1940s, 50s style. Yeah, street rods and everything, and then they're even dressed like that. Like they look like oh man, they look like the
greasers or something.
The T-birds from Grease.
Yeah, yep.
Yeah, they got the leather jackets on. They got the hairdo done and everything. They went to like the little diner and stuff.
Yeah, it reminded me of Jetsons.
Yes, it looked like the Jetsons mixed with like the 1950s.
Yes,
and then the fact that they filmed it like we still got like 10 minutes of footage left. There's 10 minutes of film left. They just broke out to that big fight.
Mm-hmm. And then the Star Wars references.
And then the premiere. It's funny. What was funny was it was funny seeing the premiere. But then what everybody was saying, because one of them was like, yeah, get ready for the awards. And the other one was like, I don't get paid enough for this.
At the end.
Like you just see all of them doing like this typical inflated Hollywood ego comments and everything.
Yeah. And
then like you said, then you see the military comes like, you were going to do a movie and premiere it. And I'm not just like, how did you think you were going to, aim on national TV and nobody will recognize you? This issue was crazy.
Yeah,
it was so much in this issue.
So much. And for the movie, they pulled a lot of like classic stuff. Like the opening for the movie is like the Star Wars style space crawl. Yeah.
It had the Star Wars, and it was like a long, long time ago, and like it's the Star Wars crawl.
And then the whole she won the car in a card game, and then the asteroid race at the end. And then it was funny, like because when Subgirl, her character Sharon Cluster, died, Boga was like, "Yeah, we probably should put more character in her before she died, or gave her more character or a storyline." Oh man, and even
I could tell.
Go ahead.
Well, I was just gonna say I could tell they had fun. Things like it was just so much fun making this book.
Oh yeah, there's so much. Like even because when they're doing the race, what is her name? one girl, she's like the girl who's like waving the flag to have him lead off. She's like wearing like Princess Leia's like slave outfit from Star Wars. Hey, there was just so much
Was that
so much
Jet
goodness
Girl?
in here, huh? What'd you say?
I said, was that Jet Girl that was the? Was that Jet Girl that was the flag girl?
Yeah, yep, Jet Girl, yep. Oh man, and what else? Yeah, just the whole movie. Whole movie idea itself was just great. And like you said, because I'm familiar with Tank Girl from the movie, and the original co-creator and artist did all the work for Gorillaz and made all those characters, and that's a big influence for me musically. But I love this book. I would love to see a Tank Girl Harley crossover, because that shit would be bonkers.
Yeah, I could definitely see that happening. That would be weird. Because I think.
Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say I think that Tank Girl would have Harley like she's got some screws loose.
Yes.
I think she might be a little too much for Harley.
Yeah, I mean Tank Girl is the original, Harley before Harley became crazy.
Yeah.
So that would be a great mix to see. And they even give you that splash page break before they get to the movie, when they're actually playing the game, and she's like holding the bomb in her hand. Like, I cannot give this book like enough praise. Like, I'm gonna keep reading this.
You just maybe when they had the poster for the movie.
Oh yeah, that was another thing.
And it looked like an actual like movie poster you would see in the theaters or something.
Yep. Yeah, because it has all the characters on it and their actors' names. Fucking yeah. But they're actually doing I think the new series that's coming out, they're going to have a variant cover made by the co-creator / artist from original that I'm definitely going to pick up. It's like from the movie. It's based on the movie. It's like an old picture that was used, or not used, but an old picture that was never used from the movie that he's going to make a variant cover with, which I need to, when I go.
Sounds awesome.
I'm probably going to go to the comic shop Monday or Tuesday and order it.
Boom.
But fucking, yeah. Oh, wait, another thing I wanted to point out was the diversity in this book is off the walls. I love it. Like, every diversity is in here, and yeah, I just wanted to point that out. It was good to see. Like, honestly, it's probably the most diversity I've seen in a comic book in a long time. You can say like Marvel has diversity, but I don't think they ensemble diversity. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you like an ensemble though.
But yeah, I think anyone with a good sense of humor and who likes any sort of genre could really get into this book, because like I'm not like a roller derby person, but that's kind of like the feel and look for Tank Girl and her crew, especially in the movie. It's pretty funny, mixed with like the 50s like hot rod stuff.
Yes.
Man, yeah, we should all fair. We're gonna have to do like a extra episode or tack on like our favorite comics of the year, like our top 5 or something.
Maybe that should be something we do in a couple of weeks, since this is the last month of the year.
Yes, indeed. Man, this is gonna be a tough number 1 spot for me this week with the next book we're gonna talk about. But
I know.
But if you don't have, if you don't have anything else for I really could talk about this for so much longer, but that's all I can really have off the top of my head right now without really going into it.
That is understandable. I honestly don't have anything else for this book. I think we've said it all that could be said. This book was awesome.
Yeah, everyone should go pick it up right now and support Titan Comics. I'm not sure how long Tank Girl's been under Titan, because I wish I had my old issue in front of me to see who released that, but I don't feel like it was Titan. I almost feel like it was IDW at some point that probably had the rights.
I wouldn't even begin to know who originally. I think you're right. For some reason, it does feel like it might have been IDW.
Yeah,
but
it changed.
I'm not even really sure.
Yep. But I support this book fully, and everyone should go support it, and make sure you get the Super Sports Special cover.
Yes.
And you get 29 pages worth of good stuff for only $3.99, opposed to Spider-Gwen. I'm still hurting.
Oh,
book,
man.
I'm still hurting.
We just beating up Spider-Gwen this week.
Still hurting from that. But let's move on to something positive, though.
Yeah. All right. Well, our next comic this week is Wolf Cop #2, which was awesome. Let's get that out the way now. Well, this picks up with Lou and company after their adventure riding off into the sunrise. The car has broken down, and they decide to see about getting fixed. And while this is happening, they're actually by a local brothel, and they meet a young lady who kind of hits on Lou a little bit, and convinces them to come back to the brothel. And while they're in there, she's like, this is my place. Normally, what kind of place this is, people would have to pay for it, but you guys are in the house tonight. And she actually takes Lou, which actually makes Willie jealous, which is kind of funny, because he's like, the girls always jump all over you. I don't know why.
He never gets.
But he never gets any. But he gets to go with he gets 5 girls to go upstairs with.
Yeah.
And then while he's up there, he starts noticing something's a little weird, and then he looks, and the girls are actually like zombies. And while he's dealing with this, Lou is in the main room with the madam of the brothel, and he smells something, and he doesn't know what the smell is, and then all of a sudden he's paralyzed, and the pentagram appears on his chest, and he transforms into a wolf, which was interesting because Willie talked about it earlier, where they had 2 weeks, I think, until the next full moon. So he shouldn't be turned into a wolf. After this, he's chained to the bed. He's paralyzed. He can't do anything. And she's commenting on how she's going to enjoy his blood. And then Willie actually fights his way out, manages to get into the room and free Lou. Surprisingly enough, Willie gets decapitated, which threw me off.
Yeah.
Lou gets up.
Let's just take a moment.
After he gets his drinks.
Let's just take a moment of silence.
Yeah, take a moment for Willie.
Let's take a moment of silence real quick. All right.
After Lou gets a couple drinks in him, he actually stole this she creature thing, and he beats her. And what surprises her is that he's going to handcuff her and arrest her, and she can't believe it. Kind of should have killed me because I'm going to come back and try to kill you. Overall, this was.
I think she's dead.
Say what?
I think she's dead.
Oh yeah, I'm pretty sure she's dead. I mean, he said he was going to handcuff her, but we see how that turns out.
Yeah, true.
My most curious thing about this issue is what were they exactly? Were they vampires? Were they zombies? Were they some kind of hybrid type thing?
I wrote a review for this
because going into it, I thought they were going to be vampires.
Yeah, same here. I was going to say I wrote a review for this, and I kind of said the same thing. I think I called them like vampire demons or vampire zombies or something like that.
Yeah, they're like vam zombies.
Yeah, vam zombies.
But this was a fun issue. This issue was a fun issue. This is a fun issue. It definitely surprised me that they decapitated Willie. I think issue 3 is going to answer our question about him. Because after the that is he going to come back for the sequel, and we're wondering what's the deal with him in general. So I think the 3rd issue they're probably going to answer the question of why it is, because he's probably going to survive.
I'm wondering if this is a mini.
It's probably going to be something like.
I checked.
That's what I think it's going to be.
Yeah, because I checked to see if it was going to be an ongoing series. After Willie's death, I was like, "There's no way." I couldn't see them going past like a next issue. So I'm wondering if they're going to wrap it up for just like a 3-issue arc before the movie or something, and then maybe tell a new story. Like maybe this
that's what I was thinking.
Certain arc and then ongoing series.
Well, that's what I was thinking initially, because when we did the movie corner for Wolf Cop, and even when we reviewed the first issue of this, we had talked about how we found out that there was a sequel to Wolf Cop. We were wondering about this comic, and that makes sense that it would be a mini series to kind of hold people over until the movie comes, and then from there, who knows? It could turn into a regular ongoing series, or it could just continue to be, a couple mini series here and there.
Mm-hmm.
I'm still a fan.
Oh yeah, same here.
I'm still a fan. Issue 2 did not disappoint. I just had that one question about issue 2, which is what they were supposed to be. But other than that,
it continued on from what they'd done previously. We had mentioned poor Willie not getting any love when Faye's all over Lou, but then she surprises him with all the zombie prostitutes. But I like the way that he was able to fight them off. Like he punched a few of them off and used a chair, so he was able to get away. But I mean, the biggest shock and twist of this issue was Willie's death. I did not see it coming, like at all. I was like, damn.
Which is weird because a shock would be how in the world did he transform when there's no full moon? But the biggest shock is really like he got his head chopped off.
Yeah, and then because Faye summons the demon, she's able to summon the werewolf out of him, which I thought was fucked up because not only like was she like summoning, and putting the hand on him, she was like slicing his face, like peeling his skin off. I thought that was thought that was pretty sick. And like the zombies looked really good. Throughout the whole book. And then, Willie's death. What else? Yeah, because he attempts to have his own little action moment and shoots the.
That was awesome when he broke free. He had his little action moment. He got some action before he died.
Yeah. What was the bodyguard's name?
What seems like what kind of bodyguard has a sword?
Yeah, and those '80s sunglasses. That shit was funny. Sammy, that was his name. Yeah, because Willie shoots Sammy a couple times. And I in my review I called him Terminator because he kept coming back in like different forms.
He did. It's like, why won't you die?
Yeah, Willie. It was kind of cool, like how Willie finally, or Wolf Cop, I should say, or correctly, Wolf Cop sniffs out his heart while his body's on fire. Sammy's body's on fire, and like. Rips it out with his teeth. That's very T2. Like, just dude keeps coming back. Can't kill him. You can't kill him, and then you finally takes him out. And Wolf Cop drinks some wine, and because he couldn't find anything else, that was pretty funny. He was like, "Well, this will do."
He was like, "Drink," and he gave him a little flask, and he drank it. And he was like, "Drink." He's like, "We don't have any more."
Yeah. But overall, again, it just continues the ramping up the craziness, and now he's heading back to Woodhaven. I thought it was really cool to see that he called Tammy. I was like, that's cool. So he's going back to Woodhaven to face whatever he's dealing with there. What else? Yeah.
It can't be any worse than what's been going on, can it?
No, it cannot. It's probably just going to get worse there. I think one thing I would like if, cause like Dynamite does have like a certain like kind of house art style that like I'm not the biggest fan of sometimes. Mm-hmm. Like you weren't a fan of like the Flash Gordon art. either.
Yeah.
But I think this book would really benefit from a really dope artist. Not to take away from this art, it still works. And I thought the zombies looked really dope in this. But I think someone really dope on this would really pop off this book. It doesn't feel like many people are reading this. I don't see anyone else really talking about it. And it's one of those books that's like under the radar that need to be read and talked about.
Yeah, I am an advocate of Wolf Cop.
Yeah, I'm glad you told me about this. Did you see the
both
liquor donut?
Movie and comic? I'm an advocate of it.
Did you see the liquor donut? Did you see the liquor donut shirt? The
girl had the liquor donut shirt on. I was dying when I saw that. I was like, liquor donuts is everywhere in this little universe.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, like I said, we'll see. I think, like you were saying, maybe they're just going to do like a 3-issue arc to get people hold over to the movie and see if an ongoing series happens after that. Yeah, because
this is holding me over until the movie.
I'd like to see. I'd like to see where sales are on the first issue. Be interested to see.
I would too. I'm going to agree with what you said a little while ago, though. That movie, this seems to be something that's kind of under the radar. Most even people who know about the movie probably don't know that there's a comic now.
Mm-hmm.
It's a movie. I really haven't seen anybody else other than us. I mean, there could be some other people that are talking about
I've seen a couple,
shows and
yeah, I've seen a couple people on Twitter talk about it.
Well,
but yeah.
The Columbus Comics Corner is definitely a fan of Wolf Cop.
Yes, we are, and we'll keep reading it as long as it comes out, and we'll talk about every issue. Nice. Well, again, R.I.P. Willie, man.
R.I.P. Willie.
R.I.P. Willie.
we want to dedicate this episode tonight to Willie.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Cool. Well, we can move on to our last book of the night, unless you have anything else for Wolf Cop.
No, I have nothing else for that Wolf Cop. I'm interested to see this book.
Yeah. We got it was a slow week for DC and Marvel, but we pulled the Batman Annual #1, and later I'm going to ask what your favorite story was. But first, I guess we can kind of
Okay.
Yeah, we can just go through. I'll break down all because there were five stories in this written by different artists. So we just go one by one and then talk about them. But yeah, so the first story is Good Boy, titled Good Boy. The script is by Tom King, pencil and inks, David Finch. We got Gabe Atab, excuse me if I'm pronouncing that wrong, on colors, and Darren Bennett on letters. And the annual cover was done by David Finch and Brad Anderson. So for the Good Boy story, Alfred takes in a ace bass hound who recently attacked Batman, and because the ace was a victim of a Joker's sick game. And throughout the book, we see the day in life of Bruce getting acquainted with the dog, as Alfred takes the time to retrain the once abused animal Ace. And at this point, Bruce has given up faith in Alfred training the dog over a span of 4 months. But after returning from a late night tussle and being injured, Batman and Ace actually have a little bonding moment while he's in the bat suit. The next day is actually Christmas Day, and Bruce makes Ace a dog bat cow. Well, I'm going to say bat cow, but it was a cow. And it seems that Bruce has a new best friend for Christmas Day. This was a Tom King. That's my boy. We go way back. David Finch, we go way back. We went to high school together. I love the story. I didn't go to high school with them, but yeah, this is a good story. It was a nice break from all the depressing stuff that's going on in the Bat books. we got to see Bruce being a human being, being normal. Alfred trained the dog, throughout these weeks as Batman's like patrolling, doing his thing with the Bat computer. And Tom King loves Kite Man because he threw that Kite Man in there for me. I was like, Kite Man, hell yeah. But yeah, it was, all these are...
Guys, Kite Man referencing.
Yeah, it has to. I'm fine with that. But yeah, that was pretty much all I had. What did you think of this part?
I like this story a lot because I always liked Ace. I liked Ace the Bat Hound, and I liked Crypto the Superdog. Like I liked that aspect. I think at some point in comics they got a little crazy with them having pets, but Ace and Crypto are always like. I've always wanted them to do something else with Ace. It was definitely iffy with me in the beginning when he first bit Batman, and like you said, it turns out that essentially the Joker has broken Ace.
Yeah,
and it looks like he may not be able to be helped. But I like the process of Alfred not giving up on him when Bruce was pretty much ready to give up on Ace. Like Bruce was pretty much like, you can't fix him. Nothing can be done to fix him. I'm guessing it was the dog shelter place, the vet place, whatever. Said the same thing. His dog can't be fixed.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And Alfred did not give up on him. And by the end, even Bruce is like, like I said, he gave him the little mask. He was like, "You want to be a bat hound, don't you?" It was interesting seeing him in that position because you never see him, even as Bruce Wayne, you never see him have those kind of emotions or even have those kind of interactions with anybody. Because then he starts like the little doggy talking stuff to him. He's like, "Yes, you do. Yes, you do want to be the bat hound, don't you?" And I thought it was funny that Alfred talks about how he didn't give him a present, and then they have a call line from earlier. Because earlier he came down and Ace was on the table barking at him. He's like, "I was expecting breakfast and not this." And then in the end, Alfred has a little joke. Was like, "Well, I was expecting you to say you call yourself the world's greatest detective. I bet."
Yeah.
So I liked it. I liked the artwork. It's great to see Ace. I was scared they were going to take Ace in a bad place here, and they was going to kill Ace or something from the beginning of the story. But I liked the little story.
Yeah, I know. Because I know you didn't read I Am Gotham, but because I remember I told you about David Finch being on the I Am Gotham arc, and yeah, I love his art, and this is just a little sample for you. But I think my favorite moment in this one was where we see like the span of Alfred training him and like wearing the dog suit, and Batman's at the
wearing the dog attack suit.
Yeah, and Batman's at the computer. Yeah, it's over a span of, looks like, I want to say almost a month and a half, and each panel shows like Batman taking on someone or looking at someone else, like Kite Man. There was Penguin at one point, Riddler. Yeah, so good stuff. But we can move on to the next.
It's funny because my favorite moment in the book is the next page when it's December the 19th, and Batman pulls into the Batcave. He's got the knife sticking out his shoulder. He just rips it out, comes up to him, and is like sniffing him and barking at him. And he's like, "I'm okay. Yeah, I'm fine."
That'd be a toss up for me between those two pages. That is pretty good. Nice. Well, yeah, we can move on to the next one, which is Silent Night. Script written by Scott Snyder and Ray Fox. Pencil and inks, Declan Shelby. Colors by one of my favorites, Jordy Belair. And letters by Darren Bennett. So Batman heads to a possible threat occurring in downtown Gotham. This somewhat cult-looking men and women dressed in red coats are standing around a statue. And two of the women start to climb to the top of the statue to show off their acrobatic skills and backflip off the statue to be caught by two of their fellow acrobats who are standing on the ground. And Batman leaps into action and before realizing there is no threat, looks onto the crowd and enjoys his show for once that the acrobats are putting on. And we even get a smile out of Batman before getting a report of gunfire. And right there, he's back to detective mode. And this wraps up Silent Night. It was real quick. I also really like this one as well. We saw how some of the back technology worked with the calls that came in. How how they're routed to the computer system, and certain ones are routed there. We get Bruce smiling, which I thought was pretty great. Alfred had a moment, or Alfred gave Batman a moment of grace, towards the end, when he was like, take this as a moment of grace that you don't have to do anything, you can enjoy yourself. And the whole fake out thread idea, I thought was good, and the art was, killed it for me. It reminded me of almost like the Batman animated show, but with like a hint of something else.
I definitely feel the comparison to the Batman animated show. The statues reminded me of Batman Returns.
Yes,
because that's when Tim Burton went with the bigger, over the top almost statues, and those statues looked like something that would have been in that movie. It was definitely awesome to see Batman in a situation where he thinks it's about to be a trouble, looks like it's about to be some kind of incident. He's got to jump in and be Batman. And then realize, no, these people are just trying to entertain everybody. And to have Batman take a moment and go like, I'm going to be entertained for a little bit. It's going to be a long night. I've been having a long time as Batman. I don't get these moments. And he sits there and watches. And then, like you said, he flashes that little smile. Just a little smile. But it's enough to make you smile. It go like, Batman has finally had, even if it's for like a minute or two, he's had that one time where he can actually relax and enjoy something for what it is. And then, like you said, he immediately gets the phone call and it's right back into Batman mode, back into action. But for him to have that one little moment,
yeah, it's perfect.
That's huge for Batman.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and then when he gets that call, that panel, that last page of him like jumping off into the night, oh, that shit was dope. Fucking definitely. I don't think I've ever seen any Declan Shelby stuff, but fucking A. And with Jordy Belair. Whew, man. But yeah, I like getting these little stories. And it's around Christmas time, so it's like, it should be, a happy time for Bruce. Without change.
It's funny because that's what this essentially is. I know this is the Batman annual, but this is essentially the Batman Christmas issue because everything is essentially mostly either taking place around Christmas or ends on Christmas.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that was really all I had. Because since they're so small, or the stories are so short. But yeah, really, Alfred stood out for me in this, and the art. Alfred just talking to him like, take this as a moment of grace. Like, I read that, I was like, that's a good line. Good job, Scott Snyder.
Well, it seems like Alfred's always looking for those little moments to let him be human.
Yeah, he always tries to remind him.
Like, he realizes he's not going to stop Bruce from being Batman. He's not going to do it. He's realized that at this point. But he always wants to find those little moments, little ways to make either Bruce or even Robin have those moments where they can kind of have something normal. Mm-hmm. They can have a moment to themselves, have a moment to smile and break character and enjoy being a human being before they got to get back to whatever their mission is.
Oh yeah. You got anything else on that one?
Nope.
Nice. Well, let's keep on moving. I bet you like this one a lot. So this one is titled...
I do like this one a lot.
This one's titled Not So, The Silent Night of the Harley Quinn. Script by Paul Dini, who we should also say is the creator of Paul Dini is the creator of Paul Dini. Paul Dini is the creator of Harley Quinn as well. And we have pencils, inks, and colors by Neil Adams and letters by Durham Bennett, who essentially does the entire annual. But yeah, it's Christmas Eve in Gotham, and Harley's out and about and wants to throw a bomb. Christmas present, we should say, down the vent of GCPD headquarters. But, Batman sweeps her up real quick before she can even, get the vent open. And Batman decides to, finish his patrol before dropping Harley off at Coney Island. So we get to spend the night with Bat and Harley in the car. And Harley breaks into Christmas carols as to pass the time and to try and get Batman involved as well. And although Harley may be stuck with Batman this whole night, she does explain, while she was with him, essentially her gang. I'm going to say it's her gang because you got the kids beating up someone who was picking on him as well. But her gang of Harley followers, actually, yeah, I'll just call them Harley's followers, are still out there being vigilantes in her absence, which I thought was cool. What were your thoughts on this section?
Well, first of all, Batman doesn't tell her he's going to drop her off at Coney Island. He just tells her to get in the car, and he was going to drop her off either at Arkham or at the edge of Gotham, and make her walk back. And then she busts into the Christmas songs, and it's funny because the first Christmas song she busts into is the Jingle Bells, Batman Smells, and Robin Laden, and she stops and goes like, "I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. This is the first thing that came out of my mouth."
Yeah, I like that.
And I like the conversation of her saying, like, I've heard that you sing before. Like, I've heard you sing before. And he's like, I don't sing. And then she's like, no, I heard that you sung all night one time and everything. And then she makes it her purpose to make him sing a song. And she just keeps singing all these songs. And then finally, he finishes the line to a song for her. And she's like, see, it's 'tis the season. And she's like, 'tis the season to be jolly.
Yeah, and
she keeps saying, it's like, 'tis the season. And he's like, to be jolly.
Yeah. To harken back what you were saying,
hilarious.
To harken back what you were saying about when she was talking about how he used to sing, and he says like it never happened. Like the way they draw it, he's like kind of looking off to the corner, which makes me think like it did happen.
Yep.
I thought that was good.
Yeah, like it happened, but no one was supposed to know about it.
Yeah, I kind of like that. I'm not sure if that was intentional or not, but I thought that was funny.
Yeah, I would like to think it was, which makes it even more funny because it's like it never happened. No one's supposed to know about that. Who told her? How'd she find out?
Yeah, her Harley followers are still out there, doing not necessarily doing her work, but kind of being vigilantes. Because the first one, is a kid, a couple friends walking, and they get bullied, and actually one of the kids. I'm just now seeing this. But one of the kids has a Harley bat as a present, and I just noticed there's a Wonder Woman doll.
It had the bat and then the little Santa Harley Christmas hat, which I'm pretty sure DC is going to be selling real soon.
Oh yeah! Did you notice the Wonder Woman doll when the kids with the bat scene?
Oh no! I didn't notice that. I see it right there in the corner. Yeah,
I'm just now seeing that now too. Oh, if you look... Oh, now that I see it. If you look right above that, looks like there's someone else, too, like a Spectre. Because they have a hood. Or Green Arrow, maybe.
That is the Spectre. Yeah, Spectre.
The other one, I think, is Wonder Woman.
No, yeah, it is Wonder Woman. That's the Wonder Woman, Spectre.
And then Wonder Woman again. I'm just not noticing that. That's cool. We'll assume that's Spectre, I think. But that's cool, though. That's some good detail. Just little subtle things I like. But yeah, and it was funny when she had the Joker face pie, and he throws it out the window, and it's actually a bomb.
The pudding.
Yeah, the pudding.
She said, I brought this just because I ran into my ex, and then he throws it out and it's a bomb.
Yeah, I think the big thing though was her like breaking Batman and getting him to actually say like a couple words to a song, a few words to a song, I should say.
And then he says, and she's like, "Aha! I knew you would sing along. She said, I knew you were singing along, like he was singing along in his head the whole time.
Mm-hmm.
And he just was like, it's time for you to go now."
Drops off with all. Who's the person to the left? Because I see Eggsy, Poison Ivy, Tony, and that goat dude. Are you familiar with him?
Oh, hold on. Let me flip to the back. Oh, you talking about I can't remember his name. He's a goat.
Okay.
Because some of the people who live in her tenement, they were sideshow performers, animals and stuff.
Yeah, because I looked up, because when she's holding that like steeple chase button, I looked that up. I guess it's just a little affair in Coney Island. So I wasn't sure what that had to do with the story at the end, but overall, it's a fun story. The art kind of dipped down here a little bit, just a different style. Wasn't necessarily my thing, but it almost kind of reminded me. Now that you mentioned like Tim Burton, this kind of had like a Tim Burton type feel to it.
Like they mixed it with a hybrid of that kind of art style and kind of what they've been doing in the Harley Quinn issue, in the Harley Quinn series, I should say. Like they kind of fused them together. I guess you would have to do something like that. The new Harley Quinn has a different look than like the old Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
and it's kind of distinctive.
I like the parade stuff with the balloon Harley Quinn and the old school Batman.
Yeah, and the dude viciously like Joker.
Yeah.
They have when they first show the balloon with the evil eyes the evil looking Harley Quinns around him, he looks like the Joker.
Good stuff. Cool. We got anything else for that?
Nothing else.
All right. Well, this is where it dips down for me. This is excuse me. This is titled Stag. We got Steve Orlando on the script, pencil and inks by Riley Rossmo, colors by Ivan Plancia, and letters once again by Darren Bennett. So pretty much, Batman saves some kids and family from an old villain, Minister Blizzard, which is an old Wonder Woman villain who appeared like way back in the day. So Minister Blizzard causes a ruckus at an ice skate rink downtown, held by Barry O'Neill, an old billionaire who has helped the youth in Gotham. And later at home, after Bruce or Batman takes down Mr. Blinister, Bruce ponders the fact that he can always punch his way out of things, but the one thing he can't save is a person from a natural death, or in this case being murdered. And as Barry O'Neill returns home, he is greeted by a new villain, Stag, who murders Barry to set up Steve Orlando's new arc, and has nothing to do or feel for this annual. And I don't have much for this. I thought this was
exactly after I was like, they're setting up another arc.
Yeah. The art, excuse me, the art, I thought was dope. Riley Rossmo, I'm not familiar with, but it's cool to see some new talent come onto a Batman book. So I'm assuming at some point, Riley Rossmo is going to be doing Batman at some point, either for All-Star or one of the Bat books. But the story was pretty bland. It stuck to the whole winter feel, but it was more. Since it was a setup to an arc coming in 2017, it just didn't feel like it. It didn't feel like it should be in this annual, because the first three stories have just been fun little one-offs, getting to know Bruce in his downtime, seeing him with Harley riding around for a night. But yeah, this is just setting up an arc and kind of rushing it almost. It seemed like, and then Duke had a brown paper bag to have cuffs or finger cuffs in them. I don't know. What do you got? What do you got on this book?
You summed it all. I did like the artwork. Also, it felt out of place, even though it was still keeping in line with the whole thing. But it did feel like a rush to set up another arc for something else. Because I got to the end of it and it was kind of like, oh, they're setting up an arc. Yeah. But why are you setting an arc up in the annual?
Yeah. Yeah. Don't got much for this one, unfortunately. This is kind of where the annual takes a dip for me. But you want to move on to the next one, the last one?
Good thing they saved it for the end.
Yeah. I mean, I guess
good thing they saved it for one of the last stories.
Yeah, maybe they just wanted to go darker or see where I'm not sure how I feel about Steve Orlando on another Batman book. I still haven't read Night of the Monster Men, but from everything I've heard from people I respect their opinions. A lot of people in general too just did not like Night of the Monster Men, which I skipped personally because I was like I give Tom King a break, let him come back, do their thing, and the books have been good again for me. So I hope this doesn't mean that Tom King is leaving soon or going on to another book. But we will see. We'll see what DC does with it. But the last story for the annual is the Insecurity diversion. Well, I did like this more than Stag, I'll give it that. But the script is by Scott Bryan Wilson, pencil and inks by Bilquis Evely, colors by Matt Lopez. Sorry if I'm pronouncing that wrong again, and letters by Darren Bennett. So Delia Flom, I believe I pronounced the last name, aka Hunter, decides to use a mild fear toxin to escape Arkham and cause everyone in Gotham to have anxiety attacks and feel insecure. And Hunter makes her way to meet up with Scarecrow at his hut in the middle of nowhere. And I assume so they could flee Gotham together. But Batman breaks up their reunion pretty quick. Hunter attempts to use the toxin on Batman, but he came prepared. And Batman whips out his own paralysis toxin and threatens to leave both Hunter and Scarecrow to either die, and at one point even threatens to break both of their jaws. This issue was okay. Again, it didn't fit in with the annual. And there was really one panel that was really weird, like when she changed her clothes and she punched a pile of snow, it looked like, or maybe she was digging excuse me, maybe she was finding a secret stash of clothes. It just didn't make sense. I couldn't tell how she got those clothes on next to the pile of, maybe that's trash. I don't. Now that I think about it, maybe it is trash, but it wasn't explained well enough or drawn well enough. Yeah, man. Unfortunately, I really didn't have much for this issue. I like the idea of the anxiety fear toxin, like a different, messing around with a different one as opposed to Scarecrow's normal fear toxin. Good idea, but I don't think it wrapped up well or displayed well. And Batman threatens to break their jaws at the end. Kind of threw me off. I can loosen them for you. Is Batman beating women now?
This was definitely. It was definitely a weird story. For me, the most interesting part of this story was seeing Arkham.
Yeah.
When she is having the conversation with the Mad Hatter, and he's got the newspaper like his top hat.
Yeah,
that was really good. The most interesting part for me in the story. Okay, I guess.
Yeah, art was fun.
I did like the art.
Yeah, I'm down with the art.
The art was fun and interesting. I wasn't really.
I'm sorry, what did you say? You cut out a little bit. What did you say? You cut out.
What did you say?
What did you say again, real quick?
Oh, like I was saying, but the overall story really didn't do much for me.
Yeah, it wasn't much to these last two stories. See, Orlando pretty much just got an arc in, or a setup issue in, and then they probably should at least ended with See Orlando's, because that way it would have felt, I guess, more natural instead of putting it kind of in the middle. But yeah, it was a slow week for DC, that fifth week, DC and Marvel. But we still got some good books out of this week, though. I thought, because while we always, you can never forget, there's always more publishers than DC and Marvel. While we might love both of them or like more one or the other, got to keep in mind that there's other smaller companies doing this stuff too, and we got to support them. But yeah, that was Batman Annual number 1. Let's move on to our rankings.
Oh boy. This is going to be hard this week. All right.
I think after talking about everything, I figured out my lineup.
Who went last week? Did I go last week? You went last week? I can go this week.
Yeah, you go ahead.
For me, number 1 this week was Inhumans versus X-Men. I thought it was a solid bridge between Death of X and the coming Inhumans and X-Men. Good artwork. Pretty strong story. Number 2 is harder for me because number 2 this week for me was Tank Girl. No. I take that back. Number 2 was Wolf Cop. Wolf Cop was number 2. Wolf Cop close to being. Wolf Cop was number 2 this week. Tank Girl's number 3 for me this week. My number 4 is going to be Batman Annual. While the last 2 stories were a little lackluster, first 3 stories, as short as they were, because it's an annual, but they were solid stories, and they definitely made me look at Bruce Wayne / Batman in a different light. We got to see him, and we got to see him do things we don't normally see him do.
Take a break.
We got to see him smile. Things. We got to see him sing.
Yeah.
To see him do a good deed for Gotham is from New York City. Next is going to be Old Man Logan. Wow. I'm waiting to see where they're going to go with this. We got very, very little Jubilee part of this story. There was still some good stuff in this issue, and it was still pretty fun. Artwork was still pretty good. I did like seeing the what are we calling them? The supernatural Highland Commandos.
Oh yeah, the paranormal shield unit or
the paranormal Highland Commandos.
Yeah, Highland Commandos. Yeah,
I did like seeing them.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was fun seeing them, and that leads me to the last book this week for me. My bottom of the list is actually going to be Suicide Squad. The backup issue was great. It wasn't enough to make the main story awesome. I didn't think the main story was terrible, but I have to agree with what you said. Like it does seem like this story should be moving along a lot faster than what it's moving. Mm-hmm. So for that reason, and even though it was awesome to see a normal, sane Harley Quinn still manage to like take out a whole bunch of people, I have to put Suicide Squad at the bottom this week.
Understandable. That's definitely understandable. Yeah, after talking tonight, my list has changed. This week, number 1 is, after talking about it, Tank Girl Gold number 2 is going to be my top of my list. It hit everything that I wanted, hit everything I expected out of a Tank Girl book. It was awesome.
Okay.
2, I gotta stick with Wolf Cop 2, because the whole twist with Willie dying, that got me. Brought some tears to my eyes. It just came out of nowhere.
They killed Willie.
They killed Willie. But as well, also real quick, you can read my review that I wrote about it on Weird Science DC website. It's up there now. It got posted today, actually. But number 3, I'm gonna put Old Man Logan. I'm gonna keep Old Man Logan at number 3, issue 14. It was good jumping on point. Even though I'm not a big fan of the Dracula the whole Dracula thing. We'll see how long it goes, and see what they do with it. And at my number 4, I'm going to keep Batman Annual number 1. Pretty much everything you said. Everything did it but the last 2 issues. And seeing Bruce, take a break from being Batman and just being himself, and even cracking jokes and singing too. I'm going to keep Inhumans vs. X-Men number 0 at my 5th ranking. Not that I didn't enjoy it, but it was, for me, it was kind of just a rehash of the first issue of Death of X. While you still got little bits and pieces, you see how some of the characters are coping with everything that's happened. So you mentioned that it's been, this is a year since Death of X, technically, right? Right. Okay.
Say that again?
You said this Inhuman, or this issue 0 is a year after Death of X, right?
No. Death of X was a year ago from now.
Oh yeah.
And then this fills in the rest of that year.
Okay.
So if you do Death of X and then you do this issue 0, that tells you what happened that whole entire year.
Okay. Yeah, it always confused me, especially with the Secret Wars tied in there as well.
Yeah, I know. I know.
But yeah, obviously then my last number 6 is going to be Suicide Squad number 7. Yeah, it was just a slow issue. While I enjoyed the backup story and the art a lot more, it's still like a pretty slow story for me, and 13 pages just isn't enough for Rob Williams to tell a solid story, I feel. And I really think they need to get back on the train of, if Jim Lee can't do 22 pages, it kind of hurts Rob Williams' storytelling, I feel, and he's not able to do it. So it's not really fair to Rob Williams, in my opinion. So if the man can't do 14 pages, just get a new artist on there, and hopefully that story can actually be better. And I'd like to see them go on an actual mission, and also deal with Zod and see what happens with that. But it's just moving a little too slow for me right now still. But yeah, those are my rankings for this week. Wolf Cop was my number 1. But after reading Tank Girl, because I got Wolf Cop in advance, I was like, oh shit, this is going to be my number 1. But then I picked up Tank Girl. I was like, oh damn. And then we talked about it tonight. I was like, oh, Tank Girl.
I was sure Wolf Cop was going to be your number 1 because I heard you hyping up Wolf Cop, and I was like, that's going to be his number 1. It's going to be Wolf Cop. So you surprised me. We had one book in the same position this week.
Yes, we did. Batman.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, Batman number 4. I think that was the only one, right? Yeah, that was the only one.
You had Suicide Squad in the same spot.
Oh, yeah, and Suicide Squad, yep. Yes, sir. All right, how about your honorable mentions?
I have 2 honorable mentions. Kind of touched on one of them earlier in the episode. First honorable mention is Tank Girl Gold number 1. I did pick that up, caught up with it before I read number 2. And even though, like you said, it is more vulgar than 2, it still was good. I mean, it helps set up that idea of what's going on in 2 with all the gold.
Yeah, I should mention too. Sorry, not to
my second.
There's a new Tank Girl. Sorry, there's a new Tank Girl arc coming soon. I read recently That's looks really dope. It's like it's gonna be like a Warzone type thing, but we'll talk about that later.
Oh, okay.
We'll talk about that off air. But go ahead.
My second honorable mention, which I actually read last week after we did the last episode, was the Venom #1, which was really good. I like Venom. Anybody who knows me personally knows that I am a fan of Venom. And he's been through a lot of stuff. The character, the symbiote's been through a lot of stuff over the years. And it's kind of interesting to see them introduce a new host for the symbiote to take this. But it's pretty solid for a first issue. It's a pretty solid first issue.
Hell yeah.
And those are my 2 honorable mentions for this week.
Nice. I guess I have...
How about you? You got any honorable mentions?
I probably should have added. Tank Girl Gold, I forgot since I did just read that. That would be one of my honorable mentions as well. So I actually got more honorable mentions than I thought I would this week. I actually had some time in between some of the other stuff I was doing. But I read Generation Zero, #4. It was a good read. It's moving that story along. I picked up Seven to Eternity, #3. Still some world building, but it's moving along. Get some answers. I caught up on Shade the Changing Girl, #2. I liked it way more than the first issue. And if I had to rank my DC Young Animal titles right now, I would do #1, Doom Patrol, #2, Shade the Changing Girl, #3, Cave Carson, and #4, Mother Panic at the moment. But Shade the Changing Girl was really good. It's a really, really weird and cool storyline. But that is all of my honorable mentions for this week. Thanks again for tuning in, everyone. Thank you, Alan, for talking with me tonight.
Yeah.
It's always a fun time.
Don't mention it.
Yeah. We'll figure out what books we're going to do next week, so make sure you stick around for the previews after this, after we get done wrapping up. What else should I mention? Go listen to Weird Science DC episode 100. It should be up.
Yes.
If not, I haven't been able to check Twitter, but... if it's not up right now, it should be up by the maybe around the same time we release ours. I know Eric Shea got a little too drunk last night, and I guess they had to stop at some point. But we're gonna have a little segment on there that we contributed for their big 100 episode. We just released our movie corner for Dr. Mordred. We had some fun with that, doing these little movie reviews, getting the hang of those, and plan on doing more. Oh, what else? You got anything to plug?
Nothing else to plug other than the store. Still moving along with that. Awesome. Hopefully we'll have some pretty big news to announce real soon about that.
Cool.
So other than that, that's all I got in the works right this minute.
Nice. Yeah, we're still working on something really as well for the podcast that we're excited for. Just waiting for some schedules to clear and people to be free, or a person, I should say, to be free. And we're gonna, as long as crossing our fingers, it all pans out. We're gonna have a special guest for a show. But we do have some other special guests we should announce as well. We already mentioned that Ben from Nerd Church Radio is going to be on next week's episode with us, talking Batman #12. And at the end of December, Reggie and Chris from Cosmic Treadmill / Weird Science DC are going to come on to talk Doom Patrol 4 with us. So that should be a lot of fun. Those dudes are super knowledgeable in the Doom Patrol world. So it'll be cool to have them on, and it'll just be fun to have guests on every once in a while too. As we grow. So. Hell yeah, everyone. Well, we're going to get out of here. Again, thanks for listening. Peace.
Next week, we'll be discussing Batman #12, All New Wolverine #15, Nightwing #10, Champions #3, Scarlet Witch #13, Tales from the Crypt #1, and Clone Conspiracy #3.
Unravel all the hands of beating. Oh yeah. And ricochet and how I need you. Oh yeah. I fell again and tried to reach you. Oh yeah. I memorized